Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And ladies and gentlemen, I have some great stuff for you today. We're going to be showing you the new website, and on top of that, we're also going to be showing you replays of a best of 5 tournament series I played against Enticity today on Rubber Duck of War's channel. So Rubber Duck of War did have a charity tournament, and I made it to the grand finals and faced off against the Kraken King himself, and the series was really, really good. So I'm going to be casting that after we show you guys the website and kind of break it down. So some of you may have seen it. If you have already seen the event, please do not type any spoilers pertaining to the matches or anything like that in chat. That would be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I got some new graphics and some new stuff for the stream, so it should be pretty cool. Yeah, it's a new logo. Going to be updating a lot of stuff on the channel as we do launch. Trying to do that in tandem with the website and all that sort of good stuff. So we're going to be casting the best of 5, but firstly, I think I have a webcam set up. Let's see if it actually works. We're going to get to the bottom of this and see if this bad boy is functional indeed. Alrighty. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Look at that. It's like magic. All right, so here is the website. Hopefully you guys can see it. You can also see the little Wookiee there. Eventually, I'm probably going to be adding like a chat box over there, so it has the chat from the stream, so if people are watching it back, they can kind of keep up with what was going on and things like that. Oh, look at that. People are already signing up for the tournament. That's great. So here is the website. It's not quite 100% done graphic-wise, but for the most part, the basic functionality is there. So what the website is going to be bringing to the table is eventually we're going to have guides for every single faction. You can see there already is a guide for Cathay out right now, written by high-level tournament players, right? So if we go to the guide, for example, you're going to be able to go through and read about matchups and all this like really, really cool information if you're getting into multiplayer. Within the next, I would say 3 to 4 weeks, we'll probably have a guide for every single faction. But right now, the only guide that is on the website is Cathay. Currently, we have one being written for Kislev. I'll be writing one for Nurgle, and we're going to have a ton of content going up like that. So that's the main jam. The other thing that's going to be really cool is, and we also have a blog here as well. So you can see there is a blog written about how chaff wins you games and how to effectively use chaff units to support your monstrous infantry and your other characters in your army. So yeah, so there's going to be tons of content in that regard. There's going to be videos that are just more, or articles that are a little bit more funny about what's going on in the community. There's going to be interviews of players as well as content creators and just folks who really would like to kind of have something to say about it. So again, if anybody's interested in writing articles for the website, you can certainly hit me up in Discord. Now, as far as what else it brings to the table is, you'll notice here, the website has tournament hosting capabilities. So basically, I can create a tournament on the website, and I can host a tournament on the website as well, and it appears here. So if you're in the multiplayer scene and you're completely new, for example, to multiplayer, this is a great spot to get involved because there's links to my Discord and my YouTube channel. And also you can see here, this is a tournament I'm going to be having on Friday. So this is an opportunity for you guys to sign up. So Warhammer 3 launch weekend tournament. If you scroll down, you can see the start time, there's a check-in time, and you can also see the players who've signed up so far. So we have Human Boy. I haven't even announced this yet, and somehow some people have already signed up. But basically, you just make an account on the website. Up in the top right, you have the login and sign up. It's super easy. Just email and password. And of course, if you end up forgetting your password, just hit me up and I can reset it for you. But basically, you can come in and you can just sign up for a tournament and play. And you can see them in the order they're happening, which is cool. So for example, you see my launch weekend tournament. I have that scheduled. Once you have an account on here, which takes 5 seconds to make, you can sign up for events. And just like in challenge, you need to check in, but basically just follow the instructions that are here on the page and everything like that. So you'll be able to see all the details pertaining to the tournament. And what's really neat too is the brackets are on the website as well. So once I start the tournament, everything is consolidated on this one page. You'll still need to communicate with your opponents in Discord, which of course there's a link to from the website, but you can participate in the tournament. The bracket appears right below Wookiee right here. So where Wookiee is kind of chilling right now. Yeah, there's a lot of features we're going to be adding down the road, but right now we're just kind of launching simple to make sure everything works because it has a lot going on for sure. But basically you can sign up for the event. The website is totaltavern.com, Total tavern.com. So you can sign up there and pretty much do the whole jam, which is cool. And then the really neat part is in the history of Total War Warhammer multiplayer, we never really had a consolidated leaderboard to know who is the best of the best, right? Yeah, you would see people winning tournaments, but a lot of them kind of flew under the radar and there wasn't really a compendium of who had been winning tournaments and things like that. So basically now we have a leaderboard. So as people do well on the tournaments, you are going to be seeing their record on the right side of the website. So you'll see their wins, their losses, their tournament wins, the country they're from, as well as their clan, which is kind of cool. So you can represent your clan, your country, and tournament wins carry the most weight, and then wins and losses are used as like a tiebreaker. So that's kind of the formula. But if you play a tournament on the website, you basically are going to be entered into the leaderboard system. And what I'm going to be doing is like seasons and things like that. So I haven't set it up quite yet, but I will be putting like a season 1 banner at the top, and I'll probably have a season that goes for like maybe between DLC cycles. I'm not sure, but at the end of each season, the individual who's at the top of the leaderboard is going to be receiving like some sort of a prize or something like that. So maybe like $100 cash prize bonus. Like we're going to have all the goodies. Let me get you some links to the website. Yeah. So there you go. You guys can check it out. It's very early. Like it doesn't have much content on it yet. We have a Cathay guide, which is really, really good by Umai's here. And we do also have a Chaff guide by Jay Phoenix. So you guys can make sure to check those out. And there's going to be a Kislev guide coming from Zyphos sometime in the next couple weeks. We have player interviews coming in from one of our great writers, Frost. A lot of fun stuff on the horizon. It's very, very kind of basic right now, but again, so you can go to the leaderboard and you can do like player lookup. So once we start to get like big chungus tournaments and things like that, it could be like, oh, how good is Turin? Let's see like how he actually performs in tournaments. So you can look it up and it'll show my profile, basically my wins and losses. And then of course it'll show you tournament wins on the front page as well, which is a little bit more pertinent there. East Farm. Yeah, so it's going to be really fun. And it's also a really good way because I find there's a big disconnect between people on YouTube and Discord. Like a lot of people want to get involved into multiplayer, and now there's like ideally a hub for that. You guys can come and you can get to the Discord via the link on the main page here. You have my YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that. And this weekend, so if you guys want to sign up, you make an account in the top right. You go to the Warhammer 3 launch weekend tournament. And once you have the account and you're like logged in, you just click sign up and boom, you're in. Now, the other variable that's really, really important if you plan on participating in the tournament is you need to be there. It says up here, check-ins will begin at 8 a.m. and the tournament itself starts at 9 a.m. So you need to be there 1 hour before. And once 1 hour before goes, you click on the check-in button here. It'll check you in. If you don't check in, you'll be dropped from the tournament when it starts, because a lot of people sign up for tournaments and then in the end they just don't show up, and so that would like screw up my brackets, right? So then I'll generate a bracket and you'll be seeing a bracket here. It doesn't look quite as nice as like Challenge does, but it's equally as functional, and I actually have a lot more control on the back end and things like that. So yeah, but again, remember, you'll need to be in Discord. You just read the instructions about the tournament here. Like any specific rules and the maps will be listed above the bracket and everything. So win percentage and country flags could be cool. Absolutely, Mixu. Absolutely. We're very early on. So my developer, he's been doing a great job. Paul is awesome. We literally started this website like 2 weeks ago and we're here now. And it's like functional and it can run tournaments, which is great. But we're going to do an update cycle like maybe a month from now or something like that. So him and I, like once we collect feedback, and there may still be issues. Like we may run into some bugs during the first tournament because we haven't really done big testing outside of like 12 to 16 people. And this could be like a 100-person tournament, right? So we'll have to see what it looks like. But nonetheless, we'll get to the bottom of it. Now you can go back to the main site, and the tournaments are in order based on when they're coming up. So here we have my tournament. Dov Plays is also doing a 2v2 tournament, but you'll notice that his tournament is not on the website because it does not have the signed up feature. So people, other tournament hosts who don't want to use this website can still send me links, and I'll promote their tournaments. I'll link to it. So this is Dov's team tournament coming up. You can see the sign up link right here, all the details about the tournament and the date and time and all that. I do also have a second tournament, which is going to be on the 23rd, which is going to be another domination tournament, pretty much the exact same format. So as I post more and more, it's Pacific time. Everything on the website is at Pacific time. So you can look here and it should say, yeah, once you go to the tournament page, it says Pacific Standard Time. So like 8 a.m. here. Yeah. So that's more or less the jam with the website. We have other pages too. We have the main leaderboard page. If you make a profile on the website, wow, we actually got quite a few people already. That's awesome. You can just basically click on your name up in the top left, and you can edit your country and clan and like things like that. look at Anthelm here. It just has like a sad face with no clan. That's really funny. But yeah, we got sign up instructions. So if you don't really know how to sign up for tournaments, you can go here and I'll tell you guys about reporting scores. It's very similar to Challenge in that the winner of the matches is responsible for reporting the score. And you have an About Us section where you can like learn about the website basics, guides. We have a Cathay guide right now, which is really, really nice. Again, I'm going to be updating the background a little bit for this page because sometimes like with the parchment paper, it's a little bit hard to read in some areas. And just a heads up, the website might not be fully optimized for mobile yet. Like if you're on a mobile device, it might not be like fully optimized yet. We're getting there, but like it's going to be better used from your PC and things like that. So yeah, that's more or less the jam. There's other things we're going to be taking some consideration of, like the background, like part of the pixel art background is really cool, but on that same note, it does also contrast a little bit like strangely with this front perspective. So we might do like a more kind of solid colored background and then use the pixel art like on the About Us pages and things like that. You can see it definitely looks better when it's like smaller. I think the pixel art being stretched out is kind of tricky. With the Total Tavern, though, I'm definitely going to keep that. But yeah, that's more or less it. In tournaments, you can also click on the tournaments tab here, and this will show you all tournaments, past, present, and future. So basically, you can go back and look at tournament history. So like after we have 100 tournaments on the website, this page is going to be pretty long, but you can go back and look at the history of tournaments and see who played in what. And obviously, I can go to players' match histories too. So if we go to the leaderboard, there's no games yet, but if I go to Human Boy, it's because he doesn't have any games played yet. So once Human Boy actually has some games played, it will generate a profile for him. And then I could go to his profile and like look at his match history, see who he played and see the score and all that sort of cool stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys want to participate on the first tournament, I'll be doing an announcement on Challenge, not Challenge, excuse me, I'm so used to using it, on my Discord soon, and link you guys to the website. Currently, we have 13 players signed up, and yeah, looking pretty good for sure. And the bracket will be generated the morning of, and again, coordinating with your opponent in Discord is the important part. If you do plan on playing in the tournament, make sure that you're in my multiplayer Discord to communicate, and that you have what's it called? Oh, my brain is just like your name on the website matches your Discord name, so people can like find you and things like that. But yeah, that's it. Total Turin. I thought the Tavern was a better name because Total Tavern's kind of like, obviously I can't call it Total War Tavern. That's copyright infringement. CA might be cool about it, but I don't want to mess with that. So it's gonna be Total Tavern because it still has like the Total War kind of inflection, and a tavern is like a cool place where you meet with your friends to gather and do all that neat stuff. So yeah, that's the website, and really excited to see who's going to be on the front of the leaderboard after the first tournament. Obviously, it's alphabetical right now, I think, in terms of like who's there, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the website. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed seeing that. And any other questions you guys have, just hit me up in Discord. The website's online. We're going to be adding like 1 to 2 articles a week, so there's going to be tons of stuff. Like if you're new to multiplayer and you want to learn how to play Cathay, this article is like masterfully written by Umais. You can go check that out and hear about all the units, like what they bring to the table, like all that sort of cool stuff. There's even like visual illustrations showing like how to position units and builds for different matchups here that you can see. So there'll be guides similar, but like every guide is going to be slightly different because I want it to have the writer's unique style. So they might not all be super uniform, but for the most part, that's that. Will there be army lists available to browse? Yes, 100%. I'm going to make like army list guides. So like basically it would be like a blog article that would say like, hey, Kislev army list guide, or it'd even be in the guide drop down, and it just has like builds for every matchup. And that's easy because I just screenshot them and upload them and talk about them a little bit. So yeah, that's more or less the jam. Obviously there's still some aesthetic work that needs to be done, like the headline banner, maybe the background needs to be worked on, but it's functional, and I'm really excited to kind of see what the future of the site is. So yeah, and if you go to totaltavern.com and just go to the Discord link here, that'll take you to my Discord. So now there's a functional Discord link. Whenever you guys are asking, you can just go to Total Tavern, which is listed at the bottom of the YouTube. You can see it on the lower third of my stream right now, and you could just go there, and there's a Discord link, so you can always get there. And somebody else asked this too. Is it just me hosting tournaments on this website? Absolutely not. Anyone who's a tournament host that has tournaments that, in order for tournaments to be like leaderboard, like go on the leaderboard, I'm going to have a minimum requirement probably of like 15 to 20 players signed up at least. But yeah, if you're a tournament host and you're hosting tournaments in the multiplayer community, you can work with me. I can give you back-end website access, and you can create your own tournaments and post your own stuff and all that sort of goodness. All right. So that is it. Let us go ahead and cast some awesome games right now. So the next set of goodness you're going to be seeing is a series between Enticity and I. We had a best of 5. Enticity, of course, winning the Big Chaos Clash this last weekend, but this is a best of 5 series, which was really, really good. So we're going to be jumping over now and casting those bad boys. And yeah, we'll get it going. We will get it going indeed. All right. So let's go ahead and close this down. There is the website preview. Just need to do a couple more little things before we get going. Yeah, it is I. Yeah, I hear you. Hippie, there's a lot of stuff. So basically, we're going to have a feedback section on my Discord. So if you guys have any feedback on the website, it'll be something that we'll create a compendium of feedback and just make updates. But for now, it's just like, you know, we had like 2 weeks to get this going. We had like 2 weeks to get this website up. So I'd say it's pretty darn good considering the time frame. Derek, thank you for the $13.99. Really appreciate that. Excellent. Turin, such an awesome job with the website. Awesome to have people like you promoting and creating a scene for this game. Incidentally, I can confirm mobile version of the website works just fine. Hey, that's good. Happy to hear that. The developer will be quite happy too. And then we have a donation from Ben B. Cheers to bringing the community together. We're trying. Okay, now that I don't have to show my face anymore, I can go straight up shirtless. Oh, I always am a wild man here. No shirtless stream today. Yeah. Domination mode is really fun. It's really, really fun. Anyone else getting a 404? Okay. Yeah, Harvey, things like that, let me know if you do have it, and I can let the gentleman know. But, I mean, the website has never had this kind of traffic before, so with a lot of people going there and signing up, it could run into issues. Yeah, so Ricardo, the website could benefit from a darker background. That is my plan. Because right now the pixel art contrasts in kind of a weird way, so there's going to be a more contrasting background, so the foreground elements are a little bit more visible. The page goes blank when I hit sign up to the tournament, but as long as you're still signed up to the tournament, then we're good. Just go back to the page and then make sure. Yeah. But it's very, very new. Yeah, it's very warm where I am right now, so basically we need to do that. So I just need to add a quick screen blocker, so let me go ahead and do this to hide the replays. Although we could just go over to the intermission while we do that, so I'll just do this while we load in. Cool. All right, so we'll be back in the game in just a second. I'm not actually going anywhere. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, was game one. It is myself on Kislev, the Great Orthodoxy, and my opponent, the Kraken King, on Tzeentch. A very, very scary matchup for sure. Tzeentch is incredibly terrifying, great gooning potential, really good battlefield control, and they can definitely do it. I mean, I wouldn't even care if the camera was still on. Like, it's not a huge deal. I'm not that out of shape. Yeah. How long do tournaments take? Probably like, how many hours does a tournament take? This one, it's best of 1 and then best of 4, so it probably won't take that long. And maybe like 4 hours. Yeah. Maybe not. Anthelm, you won't do it without a clan. Okay, why did that stop looping? Okay, hold on, I gotta fix that real quick. Hold on, and cool. There we go. All right, look at that. So, this is game one between Enticity and myself. As far as my build goes, hey Grimsoka, how you doing? It's going to be a bear rush. So basically, Chariots are the best unit on the Kislev roster, and they're very good against Tzeentch. Tzeentch has a lot of armor, right? So you have Forsaken, you have Doom Knights, you have these relatively scary units. So having a combination of shooting and anti-infantry is really good, because basically the bear chariots are like a hard counter to the entire roster. They're very, very good against all the infantry, and they can shoot down the big monsters and characters and all that sort of good stuff. Turin, will you have a section on the site for clans to host a homepage for themselves? 100%. Down the road, I plan on having a section where clans who are interested can have like a recruitment type page. So if people want to be able to join clans and get some practice, they can do that there. A lot of stuff, but again, it's very, very new. Yeah. Best of 5. It's a best of 5. Did I say best of 4? Very strange. So we got Kostaltine, I'm not really sure how to say that, but nonetheless, he's pretty darn good here because he's very tough to snipe. He does, of course, have the Courage of Sacrifice and Ursun's Ward. So when he gets below 25%, he starts to heal. So a lot of times in Tzeentch games, people are going to be coming in and trying to snipe your lords and characters using the big chickens and their spells. But with him, he gets low, but he doesn't break. He kind of just sits in that like low category and really, really does pretty darn good for himself. Now, over on the other side of the battlefield for the Kraken King, he's going to be coming in with the double chicken squad. So he's got Kairos Fate Weaver and a Lord of Change, which is a really strong goon squad. You know, you have like a combination of 840 weapon strength here on the Lords of Change. So there are going to be 2 of those guys. And yeah, they really can kill your characters and are tough to deal with, like 100%. If somebody wants to sponsor a tournament, how does this work? They would just have to hit me up, and then we would coordinate that on the side. So aside from that, Enticity just has a huge Air Force goon squad. He's got a bunch of Chaos Furies. On the ground force, he does have some Blue Horrors of Tzeentch as well as Forsaken of Tzeentch. So basically, him hiding in the bushes here is a very, very good play until the objectives open up, because if he were to sit in open field and try and engage me on objective number 2, my Chariots would probably just go straight Limp Bizkit and run over his entire army there, which would be a little bit problematic. So we'll have to see how it all unfolds. Here, Kostaltine moving back to the middle of ye old map. And I do summon a unit of the Armored Kossar. So the Kossar is going to be moving over to objective number 3. What's really scary about the Tzeentch positioning right now is that he's kind of like sitting in the tree line. I don't have like a super like easy time, like either going for one or two or three, objective 2 or 3, without switching up my unit. So it's kind of putting me in a scary position. I'm like, do I send some infantry over there, or is he just going to alpha strike me with his birds and pendulum? Like, it seems very, very tricky for sure. Yeah, the Janusz army from campaign made it here, although Rasputin is kind of taking command here. Yeah, he's taking command of this. So the objectives are going to be opening up in about a minute 20 right now. In the meantime, Enticity does summon some Forsaken of Tzeentch on his backside to go capture the objective. And man, oh man, I have to tell you, during the game, I had such like a desire to just run over here and absolutely just plow these Forsaken, like 100%. I was like, oh my god, all my chariots, I want to go. But he does have good mass. He does have Kairos Fate Weaver, plus he does also have Lord of Change. And these guys are an unholy terror to deal with, because the problem is at higher levels of tournament play, which obviously Enticity and myself are pretty seasoned in competitive play, he's just going to take the damage on his shields and then run away. And there's no healing cap on these Tzeentch shields, so he can really, really just like waste my ammunition, run away, come back, let the shields regenerate, and then I basically just like lost ammunition, and it's a very, very tricky pickle for sure. Now, Light War Sled's moving back and across, going to be trying to poke down Kairos Fate Weaver. Kairos Fate Weaver cackling back there, waiting to cast some overpowered pendulums on my poor Kislevites infantry. And now I start to kind of push out some more saturated forces, so we do get some armored Kossars moving here, a second armored Kossar. I have some bows moving up to the middle. But like, it's tricky because he has such a mobile, hard-hitting air force that he's able to kind of control my back objective a little bit here. Yeah. Essa, if you go to the website, it is totaltavern.com. Hopefully you are able to find it. And again, it might have some stability issues today, but I'm going to be taking a look at everything and all the data and making sure it's functional for the tournaments. So don't you worry. Now, Forsaken and the Blue Horrors of Tzeentch have jumped on to objective number 3, and I've gotten objective number 2 here. So objective number 2 is going to be secured by the Kislevites. We do have an armored Kossar. And it's tricky because like part of me wants to go for his back cap here, but Enticity had a really, really good play. Really, really good. He came in with Spawn of Tzeentch, and like my chariots are not going to be super good against them, right? Because they have the Protoss shield, so they have 1,000 free health. On top of that, they have really good mass, so I can't really get my chariots onto the objective. And on this note, he also summons in some pink horrors. And if I do move back there to charge them, the problem is he can summon units like right on top of my chariots, trap them in place. Like, I don't want to overextend and put myself... There should be some sound. Oh, hold on. Oh, there's definitely sound. Let me go ahead and minimize here real quick. Oh, I had it muted there. Okay. Should be going fine. Thank you guys for the heads up. The sound should be on now. So the Bear Cavalry kind of sitting in the middle, taking some pot shots at Kairos, but his Protoss shield has regenerated for quite some time. So I kind of felt like, let's just go for value. So just kind of poke this army a little bit, see if I can get their shields down and actually do any damage to the forces. But he's obviously very trained in Tzeentch, and it's going to be pulling back every single time I get the shields down. He just pulls back and they regenerate to full, which is really rough. And I'm already down to like 60-70% ammo, right? So very, very tough start there. And here we do have the armored Kossars moving over to this back objective. So I felt pretty good holding middle. I was kind of like, I think my chariots and Kostaltine and the armored Kossars can probably hold middle and do quite well there. So now I have to kind of divvy up my chariots. I do leave 3 of them here in the middle, and the other chariots are going to be moving across to go after the Forsaken of Tzeentch. Now, many of you folks might be wondering, why do I actually start with chariots instead of like other things? Well, chariots cannot be abused by Tzeentch cheese in the beginning. If I had started with an infantry-based army, he could use Kairos, he could pendulum me, but against the chariots, he can't really cheese me in the beginning because they can shoot back the big birds. Now, I thought about charging in there, but really good positioning here with the Furies, and they're just kind of flying overhead and causing problems. And now the brave Kislevites are going to be moving across and hammering into the forces of Tzeentch on the back objective. The Winged Lancers get a nice charge onto the Blue Horrors, and the chariots are going to be surging into their, basically the thing that they counter. The Bariots unleash the Janusz army, and they move right to the back of those Forsaken, getting some big damage, instantly killing the shields. We should be able to steamroll the Tzeentch army over here for sure, but in response to this, the Kraken King is going to be moving on to the center. And look at this, the center is actually being taken by Tzeentch. They have Forsaken, they have Blue Horrors, they have Spawn here. It's a very, very ugly fight, and Kostaltine and the armored Kossars are trying to hold it, but it's certainly not an easy engagement here. It's going to be very ugly. Tzeentch has 2 units of Spawn, and we do have some shooting now, though, which is good. We brought in some Kossars as well as some armored Kossars to start shooting at the Tzeentchian forces. And now this is time for the dreaded Kislevite backdoor. So we do summon in some Kossovite dervishes. Obviously, the Kraken King committed pretty much everything to the middle here. He really wants to get in there and take the objective and get a triple cap on me, which was looking like it was going to be the case. But on the backside here, the Kossars do get on top of the Blue Horrors. We are able to push them off the objective, and the Kislevites should be able to reclaim this objective. I am down, though, by like 1,000 points right now, so it is a relatively stressful situation. We've lost the middle, but we do have the Ninja on objective number 3, and I noticed he sent pretty much all of his summoned units to the middle. So the Forsaken of Tzeentch have gone to the middle point, which opened up this opportunity in the backfield. I summoned a second Kosovo Dervish because cavalry don't really have crazy capture weight, so I figured getting a second one would be good, because then if he sends an infantry to intercept me here, I can use the Kosovo Dervish to try and run them over. But in the meantime, the Kraken King in the middle really giving me a beating, man. It's tough. My chariots are getting pushed back. He's definitely owning me with the shooting pretty good. He's got the double Lord of Change, including the basic one, man. That looks pretty cool. I love the blue glow on that character, but yeah, really causing some big problems, and most of my units, even though Kislev is very, very durable, are not having a great time here. But capturing that third objective back here would be quite big, and I do have another Kosovite Dervish moving to the backfield, and they're going to be moving here while all of the Chaos Furies do move down to intercept me there and things like that. So middle's looking tough. Constantine does use Salix Lullaby to get a little bit of healing going. We do capture this back objective, so I'm just going to be leaving a Kossar plus one of my bow units back here to defend that. And the bear sleds are now going to be moving back to the middle. So I do have the 2 objective cap, which is going to be quite nice. It will take Tzeentch some time to get this objective back because Kislev does have the Buyer Blood passive. So their units are unbreakable for 30 seconds when they're about to break. So ideally, we can use the Kosovite Dervishes as a roadblock against those Forsaken, and they can just like endure against the Furies. And obviously Tzeentch is coming back with a Lord of Change, which is pulling some pressure off the middle, but even still, Tzeentch is holding the middle pretty well. But this is where it's going to get kind of ugly, because we do have the light war sleds. We have some Streltsy moving up onto the objective. They were shooting at the big chicken, but I knew I needed to get this objective. So even though they are ranged, Streltsy do have some good like axe attacks, so they can get on top of the objective and start fighting these Forsaken. While Rasputin basically just holding. He's basically just holding like a champ, really not taking too much damage. More armored Kossars moving in. You can see the pink horrors appear to be trying to snipe my lord, but that's what you want. You want Constantine to be taking those beatings. That really, really is his job there. Now on the other side, we do get the great sacrifice of Kislev. So remember all these brave Kislevites who died to try and hold back the demons of Tzeentch. But in the end, the Lord of Change plus the Spawn are going to be able to kind of bunker bust through and probably jump and get objective 1 back. But it is allowing me some points to get back in the game here. Plus Rasputin and the boys in the middle. The Streltsy, of course, have gotten onto the objective. I actually sent them into combat here. So the Streltsy have moved in with their gun axes, and they're certainly taking the fight here to these pink horrors, although the shields of these units, I feel like they don't do enough DPS to actually get through the shields in melee. But we are able to break back Tzeentch here, and we do get the triple cap almost. Although, objective number 1 is going to be taken back relatively soon here by the Kraken King. So he's going to be moving in and grabbing this bad boy, and that is going to be a little bit problematic for me because he still does have a 1,000-point lead and another big push. Enticity is just so relentless with these attacks. The Forsaken of Tzeentch going to be moving in. Thankfully, though, we do get the armored Kossars with their pistols to shoot at that big filthy chicken up in the sky, which felt really, really good. And the other Kossars are going to be meeting the Forsaken of Tzeentch head on. Pistols are out, but I decided to charge them, I think, to try and keep them off the objective to make sure they get less bodies on it. And here comes the charge from the Forsaken, the downhill fight. Forsaken probably would win this fight in a vacuum, but Kislev endures. These guys are very, very tanky, and we will see what they can do. Winged Lancers have been summoned. Obviously, they need to arrive and cue some Sabaton music as they do lance into the Forsaken a little bit. But my opponent here, Enticity, with a beautiful Gaze of Fate. So he uses Gaze of Fate right here on top of my Winged Lancers and is able to lock me down a little bit. So very messy as the giant chicken in the back does pop the Oracle of Eternity to give him 44% ward save. But for the most part, I think the back objective is safe. Some Forsaken were moving from the spawn zone of my opponent here and were trying to get there, but the bear sleds did rotate from the middle. And the Barriots just absolutely massacring the Forsaken of Tzeentch. Basically, just a very, very strong counter there. So we're able to break those guys up before they get to the middle. We have armored Kossars holding it down, and the last of the Tzeentchian forces here in the middle, the pink horrors, are being crumbled by the Great Orthodoxy and the Winged Lancers of Kislev as they ride down these filthy, filthy demons. And we get this party going. So the score is pretty close. I am actually down by about 400 or 500 points. And Enticity is really going pedal to the metal to try and take my back objective. Now, this is a really, really important hold. We really need to kind of sit here and keep this, because if he's able to get this objective with the lead he has, it's going to be, I think, a little bit too hard to wrestle that back from him. Furies are rear charging into my troops, but the Barriots with the downhill charge, baby, getting into the Forsaken, mowing through those guys. Oh my god, I love bears. They're so cool. And they just plow that Forsaken unit. Absolute destruction. And even though their leadership was about to break because they're so damaged, by our blood, the Kislevites will endure. And the Kosovite Dervishes moving up and around, certainly going to be trying to rear charge into some of these forces here. Maybe go up and intercept the spawn of Tzeentch as well as the Forsaken on the low ground. And this was a masterful play by Enticity. I had a bunch of like good cavalry units coming to support, but he intercepted me with Chaos Furies to buy him a little bit more time to fight without the big heavy cavalry. So I do pull one of the units back, and they'll be rerouting. Now on the far side, he did get objective number 1 back, and Kislev now has to deal with another push here from the Tzeentch Horde. Basically, Rasputin is going to be falling back with his Kossar Spears and his Winged Lancers and the Streltsy, and they're going to be jumping back onto objective number 2 to basically just try and Helm's Deep it, because I think the focus of my opponent is now switching back onto objective number 2, and the big benefit of having these like huge flying lords is he can like bounce back and forth and really cause quite a few problems for me here. So Winged Lancers have moved on to the objective. We certainly are still holding it. A little bit dicey, but we do get a full surround of the Tzeentch forces here. So the spawn of Tzeentch are going to fight for quite some time. Thankfully, Kairos and the Lord of Change aren't like world beaters. I mean, they do okay damage, but the War Sleds are holding okay. And we are doing fine at holding, but this is where it's going to be ugly because Tzeentch has so many infantry here, and my forces are quite tattered. The Streltsy bracing with their axes, getting ready to fight the Blue Horrors and try and keep them off the objective. They were shooting for quite some time in the early game. You guys didn't really get to see them, but yeah, they've accrued about 500 value, but yeah, you can see even these Blue Horrors, only a couple of them. Since my Streltsy are so damaged, the capture weight of Tzeentch is really, really doing quite well here. So the hordes of hell are upon us! The Blue Horrors moving to the middle objective. And once again, I go for the dreaded back capture, so I do pull some Kossovite Dervishes on objective number 1. One of the things that Kislev is very, very good at is kind of this back pressure like that. And even if they don't capture the objective, it's going to force my opponent to send some units over here. Otherwise, he's going to be losing it, and it's going to be relatively tough for sure. Now, in the middle, we do get the Winged Lancers finally arriving, and we do get a surround as well. So the other ones did come from the backside objective and do lance into the back of the Blue Horrors here. So trying to get them off the objective, but Tzeentch is very, very close to capturing this. And this game is razor close. Right now, I have 4,300 points. Tzeentch has 4,000. Thankfully here, this was a pretty decisive victory for us. We were able to kind of just grind them to dust. The Lord of Change is a little bit trapped up, but Kairos is coming back to the middle. It's going to be a final showdown between Rasputin and Kairos Fateweaver. We will see if the lover of the Kislev Queen can hold it back. Well, he's not truly, but it's just a reference to the Bonnie M song. But you guys get the picture. But look at this, guys. Tzeentch going for that back objective, trying to get my bodies on there. The Winged Lancers do clear out some of the Blue Horrors, and now we'll be moving on to the objective point. But the objective will be taken by Tzeentch, I believe, in just a second, actually, or did I just wrestle it back? No, that can't be the case. No, Tzeentch has now taken the objective. Yep, there it is. And in the back, we did threaten it. And this is great, right? Because we sent a 400 gold Kossovite Dervish onto the back objective. He basically committed 550 gold here plus 400 gold here. So for 400 gold, we took 900 gold worth of units away from the middle fight. So that is certainly a tactic you want to be employing. But the Kraken King looks like he might get back in this game. If he's able to 2-cap me here, it's going to be very, very tight. But it's getting to the point where he might have to 3-cap me. But the problem is like every objective is very, very contested right now. Here, the Lord of Change just going full turkey back here, man. Beating down my units. My chariots are basically buckling. There's Furies coming in, more Furies, and Tzeentch is going to be going for the back objective as well. Going to be summoning in some Forsaken, most likely in the bushes. Tzeentch has the middle. They have the back objective. Right now, I have been 2-capped, and in a panic response, I send my Cavalry and the Winged Lancers and some Kossars over here to try and get this objective, which they should be able to if the game is really close. But I mainly just need to hold objective number 3. We're very close on points. It's a 100-point game here, but the forces of the Dark Gods have been held back, and Kislev and the Motherland will barely endure by like 100 points. Crazy close game, and that is game 1 in the series. And it is a best of 5. This was the grand finals of a tournament over on Rubber Duck of War's channel. Crazy stuff. The Bariots were good. I mean, not insane value, but they certainly like paid for themselves. 1,300 here is pretty great. And against Tzeentch, they usually do pay for themselves because you see a lot of Forsaken, you see Doom Knights, occasionally Chaos Knights, and a lot of infantry. So it can do well. But Rasputin was barely able to claw out a victory in that game. It was close, back and forth, but that is going to be game 1 here. Yeah, crazy, crazy match. All right. There you go. Cool. And let's take a look at the value of Tzeentch. Chicken, 1,500, 1,100 on the other chicken. Forsaken, about 900. And what was really, really good about the chariot plays is this build that Enticity brought is very designed for gooning and cheesing characters and like infantry with pendulums, but you don't give them that. You bring them later and you just start with the chariots. It doesn't give them like many good options. Yeah, which I think is definitely pretty fun. Because if I had gone for like an infantry-based build, before the fighting started, he would have had like 3 pendulums on me. I would have lost 3 infantry units and I would have just been in the pits of hell. Like, you need to start with chariots and or cavalry against Tzeentch, in my opinion. If you start with infantry, you just get wrecked by the Kairos cheese with the Gaze of Fate and Pendulum, which is insane. So we can go back. Oh, hold on. I was about to go back to the website perspective, but I'm just like totally shirtless right now. So one second. All right. So hang tight. Let me check this out. Looks like the scoreboard is updating, and perfect. So let's do this. Get ready for the next replay. Thank you for linking the website. It is totaltavern.com. Cool. So let's get the next game all set up and we will be good to go. Now we can answer some questions. Turin, I have a question. How exactly will the pick and ban system? I read about the system like 4 times. Kind of confused by it. Sorry. Okay, so to answer your question pertaining to the pick and ban system, how it will work is that you will use the tool listed on the website. You will send it to your opponent as you do. So you basically create a draft from the preset. You then send it to your opponent in Discord. So you need to communicate in my Discord. And from there, both of you will do a blind ban. So for example, you'll go into a match and be like, hey, I'm going to ban Tzeentch, and your opponent will ban Khorne or whatever, right? They appear at the same time. And then you do another one using that same tool, but he cannot pick the one you banned and you cannot pick the one he banned. And that's it. So basically, if you don't want to play against Tzeentch or like Ogres or whatever, like probably 2 of the stronger factions, you can make Nurgle work better by getting a ban, right? So we do have a single ban. It's like a blind ban and then a blind pick afterwards. Yeah. That's basically the jam. The only other rule that we have for this weekend's tournament is actually banning Iron Blasters can only be brought 1 per army. So if you're playing Ogre Kingdoms, you're not allowed to bring 2 Iron Blasters. That's the only rule we have. Maybe pin a comment with the website link. I don't know if you can actually do that in YouTube chat. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can. But we can go back real quick. Let's head to the website. I think I can actually use my other thing here. Hold on. Very good. And let me go to studio mode here. So we can take a look at the website again. I know a lot of new people have joined, so we can kind of like go over that real quick. So, all right, let's do this. Perfect. Right. And that looks good. All right. So before we get into the next match in the best of 5, we will show you guys the website again. So here it is in all of its glory. You can see I do have a couple other tabs open there, so we can delete those. So this is the jam. Well, Zyphos has got, oh, there's another Zyphos. Okay, we got 2 Zyphos. Man, look at that. We already got 23 people signed up for the tournament. So for anybody just joining, this is totaltavern.com. The name is total, T-O-T-A-L, tavern.com. This is a website that is going to be ideally like a hub for multiplayer. So you can come to the website. There's going to be guides. There's going to be blogs. Like one we have here is like Chaff Winning Games. We have another guide for Cathay. But within the next like 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to be getting a guide for every single faction. And blogs will be covering a number of topics, including interviews in the community, like tactics, just like how mechanics work. We have Random Nix is working on one about how unit cards work. So if you guys are really new to multiplayer or Total War Warhammer, there'll be an article here explaining how unit cards work and like breaking it all down right now. So if you go to the tournament page or the main page, you can see upcoming tournaments. This one is scheduled for the 18th, so this is Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can go to the website, click on any of the upcoming tournaments, including Dob Plays, who's hosting a 2v2 tournament. But his is hosted off the website because currently we only host 1v1s on the website. So basically, you could go to the tournament, you just make an account up in the top like left here, and you just sign up. And then it'll enter you here. Then you just have to show up 1 hour before the tournament starts, or within 1 hour, and you just click a button which will be appearing right here, which says check in. And once you're checked in, it guarantees that you'll be playing in the tournament. If you do not check in, you'll be dropped. And aside from that, the other thing you need to be really, really on point with, if you're playing in the tournament, you need to be in my Discord because that is where you will communicate with me if there's issues or if you'll be, messaging your opponent there, right? So when you see yourself on the bracket, like who you're up against, you just go find them in Discord because their names should be the same. But currently right now, yeah, we have 2 Zyphos. Look at that. We have a Zyphos here and there was another one on the front page. And then after the tournaments have been going, we're going to have a leaderboard, right? So it will basically be based on tournament wins. Tournament wins carry the most weight, hands down. So let's say you have a player who plays in 1 million tournaments, but they never win. You wouldn't want them to be like the #1 player over somebody who actually wins tournaments, but maybe plays less. So tournament wins are going to be the biggest factor on the leaderboard, and then wins and losses are used as a tiebreaker. And if we scroll here, you can also see the country and the clan that they're in, if they are part of a clan. And speaking of, I see some people with like sad faces here, like that entered no clan. You can leave it blank. But basically, I'm going to be adding extra drop downs and communicating with clan leaders to basically have like a section for recruitment. So if you're interested in getting involved in multiplayer, you want to join a clan and have some buddies to like really, really practice with, you can basically join a clan through this website. But bare bones, like if you guys are like brand new to multiplayer, the first thing I would recommend doing is like coming on the website. You can read some of the guides and articles, but join this Discord. This is where everyone like coordinates games and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And that's that. So yeah, you can just jump in, sign up here, and then the bracket is on the website. It's very similar to like Challenge. It doesn't look quite as nice, but it's very functional. As far as our testing goes, we're going to see, because this is already bigger than any of the testing we did. Yeah. Are all of these intended to be only matches under the banner rules? So you can see what rules are being used in a tournament by going here. You can go and look, and it'll tell you, like rules, only one rule will be used. Ogre Kingdoms, Iron Blasters are limited to 1 per army. And it's domination mode. So the good thing about domination mode is you don't need rules. If we are having a tournament in banner rules and using a land battle tournament, which I will be doing, you don't need to worry because it'll be right here and you can go to the rules and find everything. So yeah. And again, just go to totaltavern.com if you guys want to, join up and party and do all that sort of good stuff. And you can sign up for tournaments. Eventually down the road, I'm going to be adding forums as well. So there will be forums on the website for people who want to discuss multiplayer and tournaments and all that. But I mean, we kind of already have that with Discord, so I'm not sure if we really need that, but that's something I will consider collecting feedback on. I would recommend putting Twitter and YouTube Discord on the top bar. Yeah, I think that's actually really good feedback, and that's something that I'll probably do in the next couple days. So we could put like the social links like up here on the top. Yeah, that's a really good feedback. Thank you, man. See, this is great. You guys are all helping me out. Life is good. So let's get this next game going. This is going to be game 2 between myself and the Kraken King, and I was very happy about this game because it was an ogre mirror match. And I was like, okay, if we're going to be using dirty, overpowered Iron Blasters and Gorgers, at least we both have access to them. So it makes for like a much more fair situation. And remember, if you want to play in the tournaments, make sure you're in the Discord too. There's no way to find your opponent on the website and message them there. Maybe down the road, we will have a way to open up a chat box with your opponents. But for now, you need to do it in Discord. You need to do it in the old Discord. All right, so loading into the next match. It is going to be an Ogre Mirror match on the Mountains of Morn, very much in character. It will be myself on the Chungus Kingdoms and the Kraken King on the Chungus Kingdoms as well. Hey, we had a donation from Samson. Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show. Glad you're looking like a warrior and female dwarves. Yeah, no facial hair. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to be like super skeptical yet, but like, yeah, I don't know. The aesthetic, I don't like it as much as obviously Lord of the Rings, but it's a super tough comparison. And Grim Soka, thank you for the $50. And tell him I will not prevail without a clan. Grim Soka with the 50. Hey, Turin, I'm sending this donation on behalf of the community. I do believe we speak for you all when I say we are proud of how far you've come and the community put together. Much love, brother. Keep up the great work. I will. Thank you so much, Grim Soka. I greatly appreciate it. And Samson, do I see your super chat? Let me look. Okay, Samson. Yes, I saw it. As far as like the Lord of the Rings show goes, I'm a little bit like skeptical, but I'm going to give it a chance. Like, I've seen a lot of shows where the trailers look terrible and then I'm like pleasantly surprised. So I want to see the full picture before I really get critical of it. But Lord of the Rings is my favorite fantasy universe and like story of all time. So if they screw it up, I'm going to be very upset. If they do it dirty like they did to Star Wars, for sure. Samson, thank you again for the donation. And here we go in game 2 of the grand finals. Now, as far as my build goes, it was pretty funny. I went into this game and I was like, okay, I'm not going to bring an Iron Blaster because I'm going to bring one of my reserves, but if Enticity does not bring an Iron Blaster, I would not use one against him. So basically, I was like, let's see how the gentleman's agreement, the unspoken gentleman's agreement goes. Instead, I went with a bunch of Gorgers, which are they're very overpowered, but not as overpowered as Iron Blasters. We both have access to them as well. So I have the dreaded Quad Gorger with a couple Noblars, and then we have Scrag waddling through the trees. Now, if you are going to play with Gorgers, you always have to bring Scrag. You really do, because of this item, the Cauldron of the Great Maw. So basically, all your Gorger units on the map are going to be getting constant heals from Scrag, and it gets stronger as Scrag does more and more damage. It's pretty crazy. Okoy, do we have to have an officially registered clan to... No, you can just put whatever you want there, Okoy. Like, you can totally just meme. Just have fun with it, dude. Yeah, have fun with it. So yeah, just like a Gorger push with Scrag, that's my whole army. And for the forces of the Kraken King, he came in with the dreaded Iron Blaster and Lead Belchers too. So I was very, very nervous about this because he had Lead Belchers for shooting. He had Ogre Bulls here and Noblars. He had his own Scrag, but he didn't have any Gorgers on the field yet for me to have to worry about. And he did have an Iron Blaster. So this is why I was hiding. If he's able to sit and shoot me with that Iron Blaster, I'm just going to get destroyed. Like, Scrag will get brought down to like 40, 50%, like within a couple of volleys if I'm not careful. So I kind of just basically was like, I'm just going to fall back and try and line of sight the Iron Blaster. And now I'm saving up resources to summon in my own Iron Blaster. So I will be having an Iron Blaster soon to match my opponents, because if I don't, I'm just going to get shot off the board and I'm not really going to have too much of a chance here. So constant healing with no strings attached. It's not that big of healing at first, but as you basically get more and more kills with Scrag, it becomes more and more effective. It's pretty crazy for sure. Yeah, Gorgers are less OP than Iron Blasters, I guarantee you. An Iron Blaster, if used correctly, can end a multiplayer match like instantly. Gorgers are very, very overpowered, but not as much as Iron Blasters. And again, both my opponent and I have access to the same units here, so there's not really any variables for, this is OP, that's OP, whatever. But I have been able to beat Gorgers in some matchups. Typically, really good bow shooting is quite good against them. Hey, Clay, have you thought about making an app in reference to the tournament? Something where the community could get updates? Yeah, so I'm gonna see, maybe I could send newsletters to people who are registered to the website. So I'm gonna obviously collect a poll on that, but you guys would get an email potentially down the road where it's like, hey, there's a tournament. It would be a cool, nice looking email with upcoming events and new articles and tournaments and that kind of thing. The website's very new, so there's a lot of features we're gonna be adding in, but for now, it is what it is. So the Iron Blaster shooting downtown, able to get some shots, and his Iron Blaster shooting, but I did juke it with Scrag. Scrag's pretty quick. He's got 48 speed, so you can kind of juke the Iron Blaster, and it's really funny because both of us are just trying to avoid each other's Iron Blasters. Enticity has his up here on the high ground, trying to get line of sight down the pipe on my units, and my Iron Blaster's just trying to line up to shoot his Ogres and his Lead Belchers, and here comes the fat shot ripping from downtown. That's going to be a money shot right there. It does hit the Ogre Bulls, kills 4 models with that cannon, and really, really gets me quite a good little jump on my opponent's forces, so very good stuff indeed. Total War Freak in chat asks, when will we know who our opponents are? So you will know who your opponent is as soon as the tournament goes live. So at the tournament start date, the brackets will be finalized and they will appear and you will know who your tournament is. Until then, you're not going to know. You will know right when the tournament starts. And then you just go message them in Discord and go from there. Hey, Jeff Bezos is, oh my God. Thank you for the $5. Hey, Turin. Yes, my wife likes Warhammer miniatures, but she doesn't play the game herself. But she does like painting miniatures and things like that. Now back in the middle, we do have a bunch of Gorgers. Gorgers obviously will massively outtrade Ogre Bulls because of the raw healing and damage output that they have. But sheer numbers can of course weigh me down. And the problem is the Kraken King lined up his Iron Blaster right here and was doing down the pipe shots on my Gorgers and did a ton of damage. Now Scrag's going to be moving in. He did try and get a big surround on me as well with the Noblar Trappers here, but basically I was able to kind of screen him out. In terms of this far objective, I do summon in some Iron Guts, so the Iron Guts were summoned in the backside, and I was like, okay, most Ogre units don't have crazy armor piercing outside of Gorgers, so let's get some big, thick armored boys and just move them up on the objective. I love Iron Guts, and we're also summoning in Noblars as well as the Saber Tusk pack to take objective number 1, because I'm currently 2-capped, and the Kraken King is going to be up to a relatively early lead here. But the Gorgers seem to be grinding well. My Iron Blaster is shooting downtown at his Lead Belchers, which are shooting very happily into my position, and his Iron Blaster is point blank shooting. So let's go ahead and watch this for a second. It should be firing here in a second, although maybe he didn't give it an attack order, might have forgotten about it. But nonetheless, the Gorger is still doing great work. Lead Belcher is shooting into the back of my Gorgers there, and his Iron Blaster is now firing. So he finally gave it an attack order, and it's going to be ripping some fat ones into my units, although it looks like he keeps moving it instead of shooting, which is good for me. Now, Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist being used by Enticity, very strange. I don't have too many missiles, I guess, and they don't block Lead Belchers. The only thing that the shields would be pertinent for would be the Noblar Trappers right there. But I see his Iron Blaster sitting in the middle, and I'm like, hey, why don't I just start shooting his Iron Blaster? So my Iron Blaster goes after his, and we just wreck it super hard. Scrag has popped extra ingredients, and the Gorgers and Noblars are fighting super, super hard here on this objective, and certainly doing good work. Now on the other side, I thought about using Gorgers here, but Iron Guts are way cooler, so we did summon in the Iron Guts to grab this objective, and also our Noblars are arriving on the point, and having the armor is very nice. Outside of the Gorgers, not too many basic Ogre units have big armor piercing, so Iron Guts actually heavily outtrade Bulls and Saber Tusks and all those different units. Unfortunately, the Kraken King finally summons in his own Gorgers, so he's going to be getting those Gorgers heading to the middle, it looks like, while I do secure this objective. So that's going to be a 2-to-1 cap for us. The middle's looking pretty good as well. My Gorgers are very, very beat up. I have a couple left, not too many, but the basic Ogre Bulls honestly don't really trade that badly into Gorgers. They certainly fight pretty well, and you can see the big atomic slaps coming in from the Gorgers as they keep grinding here. And it's basically like an Iron Blaster Duel of Fates. He's hiding his Iron Blaster, I'm kind of hiding mine, but my Iron Blaster has now moved up to the middle, which is the best spot. Having it parked right here in the middle of objective number 2 is going to be big value city. It should be able to shoot down, and another massive shot into those Lead Belchers, but we're lining up the ultimate prize, the Iron Blaster doing the dreaded 360 spin before it shoots again. I think. Oh no, it's going to be a side shot here. Yeah, we're going after Scrag. Scrag's in the open, but yeah, I think he's a little bit line of sighted by my own Gorgers, so I can't quite get him here. And now Enticity coming in with Gorgers and a bunch of Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. And this objective is holding pretty well here. Unfortunately, though, his Iron Blaster has parked behind my Iron Guts and is blasting them into the Shadow Realm. You can see they're taking some big damage, but not before these Iron Guts are just like super MVP. They really dominated the basic Ogre Bulls, especially backed up by the basic Noblars here on the ground. So I was quite happy about that for sure. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The game's going to be going live tonight, right? Now in the middle, big loss for me. The Kraken King, if I'm not mistaken, does take the objective back here. So he is able to wrestle it back because my Gorgers are being worn down. They're just being dragged down by hordes of just crappy units. And also he has his own Gorgers here now. We do have a bit of a Scrag duel going on, but my Iron Blaster is getting in position. Enticity might have slipped up for a second, but look at that. He hides it behind the line of sight, but we do get the shot. And it's a partial hit on the Iron Blaster. If he didn't have that juke there, in the last second, dude, I would have gotten my bread buttered so hard. It would have just gotten around the corner. It would have been cackling, but I'm just trying to kill his Iron Blaster with mine. It's the duel of fates. And thankfully, Rubber Duck of War did have a rule in this tournament, in general, that was limiting us to only one Iron Blaster apiece. So it's not super cheesy. Still very strong. So Dismember is used from Enticity on my bad boy, and now my Iron Blaster is going to be shooting down into his once again. We get a big shot to the back of that bad boy, looking pretty good. We have the Scrag duel, the duel of fates, as my Scrag is being shot in the back by the Lead Belter's pretty bad, but he's got his big, claw arms trying to wear down the opponent's Scrag. Gorger is fighting to the bitter end here, and I do summon some Ogre Bulls from the reserves to get in there. Objective number 1 or 3 is being held by my Noblar Trappers. The Iron Gut's able to move over there and bully those non-armor piercing units. And over here, though, it looks like the Kraken King is going to be getting objective number 1 for me. It's a very close game, honestly. The value was dead even this entire game, basically. And he's up by about 100 points, but I have had a 2-cap on him for some time. So at this point, I'm kind of maybe let's say screw the middle or screw the side here, objective number 1, and move on over to the second objective, which is very, very crazy. But my Iron Blaster did kill his Iron Blaster, so that was big. My dad beat up his dad. And now the Iron Blaster is going to be sitting, and Scrag is back on the menu, baby. And his Scrag just gets blasted in the face by the Iron Blaster. And of course, my Scrag has got his big claws, and that was a big one. Although he does get a Troll Guts off before he breaks, which heals for a lot. It heals you for literally almost 30% of your HP. So Scrag is going to be running away back to the support of his Lead Belchers. I definitely think his Lead Belcher should have been just wailing on my Iron Blaster here. They might have been able to kill it. But getting the Iron Guts from reinforcements to grab this objective here is going to be quite nice. And I do think Iron Guts are very good in the mirror match. They do trade inefficiently against Gorgers, but everything else on the roster, having that 90 armor against Ogre Bulls, Saber Tusks, Noblars, I think having a couple mixed in is very, very good here. So currently the forces of the Kraken King getting buckled down here a little bit. I do have more Ogre Bulls and Noblars, and this objective is being held by my forces. Objective number 3 is also held, but it looks like he is sending in some Noblars. And in the back, some cheeky Gorgers. Always a fun time. These guys are going to be climbing through the bushes here and looking to get in there. Yeah, the game launches at midnight tonight for me. So I could do a midnight stream, but tomorrow I'm just going to be doing a quick battle stream most likely. Yeah, which is going to be super fun. So we can all meet each other on ladder and do that crazy stuff. Some more Ogre Bulls moving in. My 2 Noblars fighting pretty well against the opponent's Noblars. However, the Gorgers are going to be a huge difference maker. The objective is relatively well secured by my forces, but Kraken King is now moving in. A bunch of Bulls, a bunch of Saber Tusks. He's got a lot of aggressive play coming in, and in the back, Gorgers are getting us surrounded my forces and probably will be crashing in. The big advantage, though, is that his Scrag is pretty much in the trash can. I think we were able to kill him here, and also my Iron Guts were able to move up and take down the Lead Belchers there, which certainly felt pretty good. But yeah, the Iron Blaster is just crazy, crazy good. And that's such a big advantage too, right? Having removed his Iron Blaster, I now have such agency on the battlefield. Although, to be completely honest, I'm almost out of ammo on that bad boy. And without shooting, Iron Blasters aren't very good, obviously, right? The reason why they're overpowered is because of their shooting. Pit fights going on, Ogre Bulls and Gorgers on both sides. And you can see the Gorgers of Enticity are going to be getting buffed up by the Massacre ability. So this is an army ability for the Ogres, which gives weapon damage and causes terror as well, which will potentially rout off my basic Ogres. I could get terror routed here. Pulling back the Iron Blaster, trying to hold on to objective number 2. And here, objective 3 looking very, very dicey, but just piling in pretty much everything I can to hold this. We have Ogre Bulls fighting against Gorgers. Gorgers, of course, will defeat them pretty decisively. Although the good thing is, Anticity's Gorgers should not have healing anymore. Since Scrag is off the battlefield and he is gone, I think that's going to be a big, big win for us here. Saber Tusk still fighting. Unfortunately, Noblar Trappers are getting chased off the battlefield. We're up by about 600 points right here. Objective number 1 is being held by Enticity. He does have some Ogre Bulls in the bushes with Iron Fists, and also some Saber Tusks that are kind of bullying me right there. And we're just kind of barely holding on in the middle, really. Like, he's actually been getting a lot of value with his basic Ogre infantry. Really trading quite well, but the Gorgers are so good for sustained combat on objectives. The fact that they heal with Scrag and they have Armor Piercing and Unbreakable is really a valuable trait. And I think we'll be seeing that when we see Game 1 factions come into the game, like the real value of having units like Slayers or Giant Slayers or other things like this. And Shetland Apache asking in chat, does the website have a blind pick system? We are eventually going to add it into the website as a functionality, but for now you have to use it using a link to a website that is on there. So it's all in the tournament rules. So this was a really, I liked this. We brought in some Mournfang Cavalry. Now basically the Mournfang Cavalry are anti-large and armor piercing. So it gives me really good mobility on the battlefield. And I get the Mournfang Cavalry and I just stuff the Ogre Bulls trying to get onto this objective, which I'm just barely holding. I mean, we're up right now, but all my objectives are like in the danger zone. Enticity is very close to 3-capping me. He's got objective 1. Number 2 is also about to be under his control. It's like a couple slivers. Both of us are just like throwing everything we can on the objectives. And objective number 3 is like a sliver away from him getting it. So the Mournfang Cavalry here, though, just absolute thug life units. They get in with those giant beat sticks, and they are taking out the Ogre infantry here. And also Scrag. Oh, I didn't actually kill Scrag. He's back! Scrag was hiding in the trees all along! But Scrag is back, and yeah, it's going to be tricky. The Mournfang Cavalry are going to have to turn around and kill him. I do get some Saber Tusks on here, but he does have infantry. The Iron Blaster, of course, has some good capture weight. And the heroes of the Ogre Kingdoms are trying to get on the objective, but he does intercept me with these guys, keeping me off the objective. But the big Chunguses with their mass, I'm going to be spam clicking all the way through. He's trying to get in there, trying to get on top of the objective, and we do get back and we re-secure the objective. Now, in the middle, he still didn't get this one either. The Gorgers fighting my Scrag, carrying the day, and Noblars have arrived. The heroes of the old world are here, and they're going to be jumping in and definitely targeting that objective. And I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, that felt quite good indeed. Grimsoka in chat asking, do you think Ogre Artillery needs a nerf? Yeah, Iron Blasters need a huge nerf, but aside from that, Scrap Launchers are terrible, so you don't need to change those. So we're up pretty far on points now. We managed to hold, and like, if he had triple capped me there, he could have for sure come back. Because he re-summoned his Iron Blaster that died earlier, I don't have mine with any ammo left on the battlefield. Like, he's starting to be in a relatively comfortable position. However, it's not so bad because the Mournfang Cavalry actually kills Scrag right here. Look at that. And then they can move on over and probably kill that Iron Blaster, at least really pressure it. But in the middle, pretty hotly contested. My boys are holding on like champs. He does have the Noblar Trappers here. I had no idea how he was actually threatening this capture point. I feel like I had so much more on the objective point right here. And here we do have the Iron Guts, the Armored Boys, fighting the Unarmored Bulls. Obviously going to be a pretty decisive matchup. And with that, the Ogres cheer as the Tree Hammers claim victory. Dude, that game was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, these are replays. So I played in a tournament this morning, and if I'm going to play in tournaments, I'm not going to live cast it because I play much worse when I'm casting my games live. Even if it doesn't seem like it, I'm able to focus way better. So the opening build I think was good. Like the Gorgers, I mean, they cost 1,100. So yeah, they like 2 of them paid for themselves, 1 of them didn't. Scrag did okay. Now the big thing was my Iron Blaster surviving. So that thing got 3,200. His only got 14 because I was able to kill it with mine. Obviously though, I think the Gorgers are really good at fighting on the objective. I think that was a big factor as well. He did have Gorgers of his own, each of which got like almost 900 value. So really performed pretty darn well. Lead Belchers with, 1,400 here, really solid. I think a big part of it came down to the Iron Blaster duel. Like I got the snipe on his, and he didn't get the snipe on mine, and that was that. Yeah. Not related to the tournament, but do you get the cinematics in the 8-player? I have no idea. It's a good question. I have no idea. Trusty, loving all the upcoming content. Can't wait to get my feet wet in tournaments. Appreciate you, Turin, for everything you do for the community. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm excited to see you in events, to see some new heroes emerge. It's going to be great. All right, so that is 2-0. If I win the next game, the entire series is over. And I will have won. But we're going to be going on to game 3, which is going to be a very trying matchup. It is a matchup that, until potentially today, I have never won against Enticity. We have played this matchup 10 or 15 times. And I have not won it a single time. But today is a time of firsts. And we will see if Nurgle can defeat the forces of Slaanesh. It's going to be great. You guys should be really hyped for this matchup. This is going to be the best one, hands down. And here we go. Nurgle versus Slaanesh on the crossing of the Sea of Claws. We load back in. And I have a Herald of Nurgle with a double Soul Grinder opening, as well as the Exalted Plague Bearers. And he has a double Cultist opening with an Exalted Keeper of Secrets and then a bunch of Slaanesh Cavalry. Is Greasus Grimgor's here in multiplayer? Grimgor is probably better than Greasus. Yeah, Greasus is pretty haggard. Another question before we start. What, you make those Iron Guts meta? They're really cool. They're really cool. Turin, the one Iron Blaster rule, I assume it's one on the roster. No. So yeah, it's one on your entire roster. So if you're playing in the tournament, you cannot bring 2 Iron Blasters in your roster. You can still resummon one that's died, but what I'm trying to avoid is players having 2 Iron Blasters and just like cheesing stuff and like sniping at the opponent lord instantly. 1 Iron Blaster you can kind of manage, but 2 is like too much. They're just too overpowered. All right, so I have an Exalted Plague Bearer. The idea is these guys set on the objective. We have the 2 Soul Grinders to try and bombard his forces from a distance, ideally forcing the forces of Slaanesh to come in here. Herald of Nurgle has healing as well as the what's it called? Where the hell is that? Fleshy Abundance, yeah, in the Stream of Corruption. Basically, I picked Nurgle in this match because I was up 2-0 here, and I wanted to kind of take a bit of a risk and play a faction that, if I could like squeak out a win with these guys, great. But if I don't, then I still have Khorne and these other factions later. And I will be gaining potentially more tactical information because then his Slaanesh is gone, his Ogres are gone, his Tzeentch is gone. I more or less know what he's going to have left in a best of 5 series. Eledron, take this money and feast like the heathen kings of old. Thank you for the 20. Thank you, thank you. Maddie asks, Iron Blasters just do way too much damage. They're too mobile, too hard to kill. It's just like, yeah, it's just awful. So right now, trying to move up and scoot. The Soul Grinder is having a little bit of a problem shooting there, so actually pull back. We do a little bit of fast forwarding as there's a little bit of jockeying for position, but the forces of Slaanesh are moving in. Now they're going for the old Alpha Strike, and the Soul Grinder is going to be making their way downtown, back towards the Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle. Here they come. And unfortunately, I'm not really getting too much shooting value. Like, the whole idea was to get some good shooting value into his forces and like feel good. I summoned in Furies as well because they're very good against Slaanesh units. Because Slaanesh all has like anti-large on these cavalry, so having like infantry-sized things to attack there is quite good. Now he does jump in with the Exalted Keeper of Shadows, but I do get a nice 2-for-1 engagement here on the Soul Grinder, so they're able to jump the Lord. Here the Furies jump on the cavalry, and he does summon Demonettes on both sides, which is rough, because then the Demonettes get the devastating flanker, and overpowered Pendulum incoming! Brutal damage, my 1,300 gold infantry unit basically deleted by that Pendulum. Very, very painful stuff. Something I certainly should have thought of. But the Furies are just kind of bouncing back and forth, trying to get some engagements where they can. Back in the pits, the Soul Grinders are holding back the forces of Slaanesh, and the Demonettes of Slaanesh are still taking a bit of damage here from the Plague Bearers, who I do use Fleshy Abundance on, trying to get them to hold, but man oh man, them being surrounded is very rough. Now in terms of reinforcements, I do summon in some Forsaken of Nurgle, and they're going to be jumping back onto the Hellstriders of Slaanesh, but a huge mistake! I land my Herald of Nurgle, and he uses Seductive Glory. And this is one of the abilities on the Exalted characters, and this rampages me and lowers my melee defense. So right now I was like, oh my god, what a blunder! And from here, Slaanesh just hammering me from all sides. Forsaken are doing some pretty good work, of course, grinding through these units, but at the end of the day, it's looking pretty scary for sure. As my Lord is like on death's bed, I do pull in my Soul Grinders to go after his Lord to maybe try and equalize the duel a little bit. But the Exalted Keeper is an insane duelist. You can see the Ballet of Blows, so the longer the Keeper fights, it gets more and more damage, and it's up to 500, almost 600 weapon strength with a bonus first large. And my Lord is in the danger zone. Certainly a big mistake landing that Lord, but I figured I would be able to get away. But man, oh man, I did not see that rampage coming, and the Kraken King is just punishing me so bad this game. The Hellstriders swarming in, and the big boys, the Soul Grinders, trying to snipe the enemy Lord. But in the end, it does not go well. And now my Soul Grinders are just going to have to fight here as we just continue this blob fight. Do a little bit of fast forwarding because Nurgle's a little bit slow. And the Furies jump in. We get a nice rear charge on the Seekers of Slaanesh, but the Soul Grinders are a little bit outmatched now. Because now that I have no Lord, I have no healing. I'm just like in the pits of hell. And the Exalted, I'm basically being attacked by the Cenobites from Hellraiser. And, you know, the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is just going to absolutely give the business to my Soul Grinders. And my whole shooting and poking strategy really, really didn't work out super well. As now I try and get away with these units, I'm like desperately summoning in Nurglings and shit, just trying to like get back in this, but his Exalted Keeper just giving the business. Look at this thing, just super huge and thick. And yeah, super cool as it just, oh, look at the slow-mo, just chop to decapitate my Soul Grinder right there. Very, very neat. And also at this point, guys, I'm triple capped. Like he has such a decisive fight here that I've also been triple capped by the mobility. And that's going to be game over. There's nothing else I can do at this point. I'm triple capped, my army has been destroyed. And yeah, that's how it goes. I have never been able to win this matchup against Enticity, and we practiced it a lot. I did come close a couple times, and the way I came close was when I used the big man. So what I would do is do a blob fight build. So I used the Mortis Engine Lord, the Exalted Great Unclean One, who can fight against the Keepers just fine. I used double Cultist, and I used 2 Exalted Plague Bearers. That was the closest I had ever come to beating it, but I still lost every time. And the reason why I lost with that Exalted Great Unclean One build is because I would be able to win on one objective, but he would just hold the other 2. And then when I went to go waddle, he would just like alpha strike me or like block me off. So I still have not been able to figure out that matchup. I really hope somebody can, but man, oh man, that was a brutal fight. A brutal fight. Yeah, GG to him, man. We had played this before. He never used the 2 cultists, but his lord just absolutely took my characters to Pound Town. It was brutal. And again, a lot of that was a misplay, but I think even without the misplay of landing my lord, he still would have won pretty decisively. Yeah, well played. Yeah, so Exalted Plague Bearers do have ammunition. I mean, look at this. They did pretty good. Still got 710 value, considering the circumstances there is pretty amazing. Now, before we move on to the next game, I can show you guys a build if you want for Nurgle. Well, we'll do that maybe on like a stream tomorrow or something. Brutal stuff, man. That was a brutal game. He really got me good there. Well played to him. So, updating the scorecard, it is now 2-1 on the series. Will the Kraken King come back in the grand finals of Rubber Duck of War's tournament to get the W? We'll have to see. Alrighty, so let's get this going. Yeah, so if you guys are looking to pre-order Total War Warhammer, if you're interested in that, there is currently a competition going on right now. So basically, the Total War creator who has the most pre-orders is going to be getting a prize. And then they'll also match that prize to the charity of our choice. So let's say if I manage to get first place in this tournament, they're going to give us $2,000. But more importantly, they match that to a charity of my choosing. So the company will be doing a donation to a charity. We'll probably do like an animal charity. And I also, before I did YouTube, my full-time job was for a nonprofit. I worked for a nonprofit organization. And I would definitely do a donation back to those guys as well, because that was a pretty life-changing experience for me. But again, yeah, if you want to pre-order it, you can go on over to Nexus. It supports me in the tournament. There's a leaderboard as well for the event, so you guys can grab it there. And yeah, it also like gives me a small cut. So if you like purchase it, I get like I think like $3, $4, $5 or something. I'm not sure, but it definitely helps. All right, so we'll be getting ready for the next game right now. And again, for anybody who's just joining, if you want to go check out the website, you can. Although you can also, if you're just joining and you missed the kind of website breakdown, I would highly recommend going back to the beginning of the stream and hearing where I talk about it. Yeah. Very cool. Is it better for me to pre-order? Oh yeah, just pre-order it on there. Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't gotten it already, like sure. But I mean, like I understand, like a lot of people aren't, don't like to pre-order until the game's actually out. Totally understand that, dude. Like zero pressure, honestly, zero pressure. Just do whatever's best for you. All right, so let's get this next match going. Currently, the score is 2-1. I am up 2-1 in the series, and game number 4 is going to be my Zeech versus his Kislev. So we saw this earlier. We did see this bad boy. So Spice, if you go to the website I linked, my website totaltavern.com, you can go to Discord from there. Yeah. So you can definitely do that. If anytime you guys need a link to Discord, just go to the website. There will always be a link working there. Unless there's like some weird stuff going on. But yeah, like there should be. There should be indeed. All right, one sec, my friends. Just getting the next match all set up. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Excellent, Anakin. Game 4, Zeech versus Kislev once again. Here we go, baby. Hey, and Grimsoka, I'm going to be having weekend tournaments as well, so don't you worry. Yeah, and pre-order gives you the Ogre Kingdoms for free. That's correct. Otherwise, I think you have to, like, I don't know, pay like $5 for them or something. So yeah, I mean, it'll save you a couple bucks. Okay, so Alex Mark says, small feedback for the site. You should probably include a byline in your guides. Yes, I will. 100%. Yeah, good call. The authors didn't even include I basically copied the articles they wrote onto the website, and they didn't include bylines. So I will do that. Thank you, Meryl. Thank you for the $4.99. And Gilles, if I had known about the creator pre-order, I would have gotten it through you 100%. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you. And here we are. It is currently 2-1. The Kraken King defeating my Nurgle in an extremely decisive fashion. Fashion? That makes sense. In the last game. And now I'm coming in with Tzeentch. Now, I have to admit, I'm not super practiced with Tzeentch, but they are very overpowered. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to get away with this. Nilosi, thank you for the donation. So I went with the double Lord of Change. It's a very good goon squad. They have shields, so they can really take a lot of the Kiss of Fire and then pull back and regenerate. I also wanted to try something very, very out of left field. We do have blue horrors of Tzeentch here and double spawn. So I was like, let's go for a spawn rush and just kind of tank up on the middle objective and see if we can kind of endure here in this fight. Now, Kraken King and his light war sleds shooting up into my Exalted Lord of Change. I do have the Lord of Tzeentch, and the Lord of Change is really good compared to Kairos because he can summon 2 units of Furies, which is extremely decisive for winning many engagements here. But the Bariots are a big problem. For Enticity, he actually brought a really cool build. It's very similar to the build that I defeated his Kislev with earlier, whereas it has a Patriarch and a bunch of sleds, but he did bring Katarine for the slowing abilities, and also a little Grom. Look at the adorable little Grom here in the back. Yes, it is awesome stuff. Little Grom is shooting into my my spawn. I was wondering during the game. I actually did not notice that he had Little Grom for the longest time, but my Tzeentch spawn are just getting hammered. And now look at this. Katarine moving down the Tsarina, dropping a big slow on my forces. And now the Bariots are going to be moving in, but the spawn are also going to be rushing in to try and blockade them. But unfortunately, many of my blue horrors will take some damage. And the Chaos Spawn might get a couple attacks off, but for the most part, a really good withdrawal. And now there's going to be a Frostfang coming down, or is that a Heart of Winter? I'm not sure what spell that is from the Kraken King. I think that was Frostfang. Thankfully for me, it does miss. Now, as far as the initial fighting goes, huge in the favor here of the Kraken King. He's able to beat down multiple spawn units. Pretty rough for sure, but he does make a pretty serious blunder. He does leave Katarine there, and Katarine does get attacked by the 2 chickens, and the 2 chickens have really good armor piercing. So at this point, I'm just going to be chasing the Tsarina, trying to get some good damage. He does have Stand Your Ground active, and the Bariots are now shooting at my chickens, but I do have a pretty good stranglehold on the middle objective, which will be unlocking in 1 minute, and I'm just going to be trying to goon Katarine. It seems to be going pretty well, and also, even if I don't finish her on the ground, I can get my 2 chickens up in the sky, and I can spam the blue fire on Katarine and really kind of blast her off the battlefield. Katarine is very good at multiplayer. Pink fire going down, taking down half the health from the Kossar Spears. Brutal damage as we have a big pit fight down here. The spawn doing an excellent job, and I do also summon in some Screamers of Tzeentch, which are anti-large and armor piercing. A pretty good counter against Chariots. Like, you know, obviously they're very squishy, but if they can get a jump on them like that, it's quite good. Now, I do get a little bit greedy here. I overextend a little bit. I chase the Tsarina. I get her down to about 60%, but my opponent does summon in some Winged Lancers. So this is the danger of fighting near somebody's spawn point, is that he is able to get a lot of reinforcements in. And then there's also a Snow Leopard coming in, so this is really scary because this thing has Frostbite. So if he can Frostbite my chickens as I'm trying to escape, I could be in serious danger. So the spawn battle down there is going okay. The Chariots are getting a little bit beat up. Certainly feels okay. The big bird's running away. We do have decent health on both of them. And in response to this swarming here, I decided to turn around and fight. I'm like, screw this. And I summon in some Screamers from my Vanguard point. I rear charge into the cavalry. And I get some Furies coming from across the battlefield. And also we're going to be summoning Furies of our own. So this is a really good opportunity to just get a huge W against the Kislev forces. Because so far, I've been having some, troubles in this match, right? It's been definitely favored for the Kraken King. But down to the pits, it's okay. We have objective number 3. So we have held the back objective. And we've also, I would say, won this fight up here too. The 2 big chickens, able to really get good value against Katarine. She's very low, and they're going to keep hunting her down. I did get some Chaos Fury summons from my Exalted Lord of Change on top of the Kossar Spears. And back here, we do get the Winged Lancers moving in from Enticity, but they are swarmed by a bunch of flyers, one of which is an anti-large armor-piercing unit. So essentially a really good counter against those units. Now back here, we do get a bunch of Winged Lancers moving once again, and this chicken just keeps overextending. Every time I overchase, he's just able to punish me with these summons. But this time, the chase was worth it because we did take out Katarine. So Katarine has been removed from the battlefield, which felt good. The 2 chickens were able to get her. And we also have a nice surround here on the Winged Lancers. And we have Furies tar pitting his missile units. Now back on the objective, though, this damn Patriarch's fighting. And the spawn which I invested in, which were, 2,000 gold, 1,100, something like that, a piece, basically have been destroyed. I mean, there's only a couple left, and they're trying to keep that Patriarch back. I do have the 2 cap on my opponent here. So the Kraken King has not even captured his back objective yet. Looks like he's opting to do it now. So yes, he has some Costified Dervishes on the back objective, so that's pretty good. But despite me having a pretty good engagement up there, it's looking very scary for sure, because now the Bear Cavalry and more Winged Lancers have come out, and they got a very advantageous charge on my units here. And many of the old Screamers are getting worn down. The Bear Cavalry with their shooting is amazing, and they just are so good in melee combat too. That's what makes the Bear Cavalry very tough. So I felt like I was in a good position, and then I started to look at the overall state of the battlefield. I was like, wait a second, he still has all his bear chariots. Little Grom is still rolling in the deep here and just blasting at my chickens. But my 2 chickens doing pretty good, but all of his Bariots are shooting at my Exalted Lord of Change right now. So he is obviously leaderless. Oh, Little Grom with the miss. Thankfully, the chicken does pull back up in the sky and is able to get away from that. And down below ground, we do have a couple armored Kossars moving in, as well as some Kossar spears. And it's looking pretty tough here, guys. I have the 2 objectives, but now Kislev is moving in with Kossar spears, which will be pretty much a hard counter against the spawn, both in melee as well as in shooting. He does have his back objective, and I believe some Streltsy are going to be on the battlefield soon, as he's got 2 armored Kossars putting a ton of firepower in. The Motherland is pushing back. Though they took quite a bit of damage in the beginning, they still are doing very, very well. Even without Katarine, they're fighting like champions. My Exalted Chicken just barely got away. This thing only has 1500 HP. The Bariot's doing huge work, and also Little Grom just kind of sitting in the fighting. I love the Little Grom pick here from Enticity. I think that was such a nice pick from him. So trying to hold this objective, I do get some Forsaken down here. Also, my blue horrors move back. At this point, I was kind of resolved to just having to play the objective game. I knew I couldn't really take him in open field anymore, so I was like, okay, let's play the choke points. Let's play a little bit tighter here. The Kossars with spears are going to be attacked by Furies, and we have blue horrors and Forsaken coming down from all directions. Just trying to fight to the best of our abilities, and also the Lord of Change, the other one, it's pretty nice because he's basically like a substitute. Like, he's a substitute lord. He's like the substitute teacher. If my big chicken dies, I still have 2 spells here, which is really cool. So I can still use pink fire and blue fire and do pretty well. And he's pretty good in combat too. You can see how he actually like beats up that patriarch and absolutely gives him the dirty. But those damn bear chariots are really a problem. They've been one of the biggest issues I've had. I think the spawn are a good answer against them. And there goes another pink fire right there. Down the Kossar units. But now Kislev is moving into the middle, and I'm certainly being pushed back a little bit. My blue horrors of Tzeentch being run down by Kossars and winged lancers for days. And the armored boys are going to be moving down the hill, trying to get on top of the objective, which is, I believe, being held by myself for now. And I'm up by a fair amount of points. I have almost a 1,500 point lead there, which is quite good. Certainly a lot of real estate to work with. And also some of the chariots do overextend here, so the Screamers are able to get a really good fight. And Enticity is fighting for everything right now. If he actually loses this game, he is eliminated from the tournament, and that'll be it. So this is a big, high-stakes game for Kislev here. Another blue fire going down, but those were armored Kossars, so it doesn't do that much damage. And now more and more Kossars, and the big boys are coming out. The Streltsy, the hard hitters and shooting. These guys going to get their battle axes, and they're going to be unleashing a ton of damage into my spawn. Also very good against Forsaken, and from a tournament perspective, flying units like the chickens are not very good at dodging Streltsy units, right? So that's going to be a little bit tricky indeed. So there they go, moving across. A big chicken in the back doing its thing, and now my back objective is being threatened as well. So I had some blue horrors back here holding this, but he does come in with winged lancers and some dervishes, and it's going to be tough for these little guys to hold back. I mean, eventually his cavalry would win this, so there needs to be a response, and the response is going to be Screamers of Tzeentch. They're summoned from the Vanguard deployment zone because they do have Vanguard deployment, which is quite cool, and they're going to be screaming into the old winged lancers, and we'll see what kind of damage we can get going on these bad boys. They are indeed being ground down. And here, the Screamers of Tzeentch trying to hold the middle objective, but Kislev has taken it. So I'm up by about 1,500 points, give or take. Certainly not going to be enough. If he's able to hold the 2 objectives for the rest of the game, that probably will be enough for him. So now we have to start resorting to kind of desperate tactics here, basically. We're going to be moving across here with the blue horrors, and they're going to be going for the back objective and just trying to jack objectives and try and hold on to my lead, basically. So my 1 chicken is down for the count. The bear chariots and the even the pistol Kossars are so good, and the Streltsy just parking and taking pot shots every time I come close. Brutal stuff indeed. And here come the Streltsy. Going to be shooting into the spawn. Beautiful stuff. Nothing like seeing a bunch of badass Kislevites just take out these foul demons. And even though I'm playing Tzeentch in this matchup, it's still very cool to see them getting wrecked by the Kislev, because Kislev is my main faction. That's who I'm going to be maining in tournaments. I really, really like to see them in action. Anyways, the back objective is kind of being held. Like, we're up by a bit on points. The big chicken does move in and is trying to get a shot on the snow leopard here. Obviously, he should be able to beat that snow leopard. And the winged lancers are getting worn down by the damage of the Screamers. And since he was actually moving up to capture the objective, we did grab some of the flyers here. Grabbed the Chaos Furies and moved in on the armored Kossars to kind of keep them off. But now it's looking like he's potentially going to have a triple cap opportunity on me as he's moving more and more units up, shooting into my blue horrors of Tzeentch. The chicken moving in, going after the hound. And we do have an opportunity for a back cap as well. This is actually really big. If I can actually capture objective number 1 and hold it for like a short period of time, and also hold objective number 3, guys, that's going to be good. Like, we could still potentially win this game. Even though we're probably down by about 2,000 in value right here, it is very much on the table. So the light war sleds are almost broken, using some Chaos Furies of Tzeentch to jump on those. And my blue horrors here are fighting against a snow leopard. Not really a big deal. And also summoning in Screamer. So this is the big push. This is my last effort. We're holding objective number 3 relatively well. We have the blue horrors here. We have the Walmart Substitute Lord. We have the Lord of Change. But now Kislev is moving in with Armored Kossars. Definitely going to be a lot of pressure moving on to the objective. Here they come. And the Armored Kossars also moving from over here onto the objective. Looking very, very scary for sure. While Little Grom actually sits in the middle and is holding that like an absolute champion. Beautiful stuff indeed. So we keep fighting here, moving the blue horrors onto the objective. A couple of the Kossovite dervishes trying to intercept me, but the little champions that could. Look at these brave little guys moving onto the objective despite being lanced down by the best of Kislev. Snow Leopards trying to intercept them. The Screamers and Furies rapidly intercept the Kossovite dervishes and are able to get some pretty good damage there. And come on, little guys, get on the objective. So close to getting there. And now you can see I do actually have the capture weight. As far as objective 1 goes, though, or 3, it's looking very tough, as my chicken has been absolutely hammered and is certainly going to be thrown into the fryer here as he's being shot down by all of the Kislev firepower. I get some blue horrors moving back onto the objective, and my last minute push on objective number 3 is unfortunately a failure. I tried my best to scrap back in the game, but his responses were very good. I even tried a middle objective here to get Forsaken, and we start to steal this one, but just not enough time. And he's just got too much battlefield presence right now. Even without Katarine, I mean, he lost Katarine very early on, but scrapped so well in that game. And that is it. GG, well played. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 2-2 in this best of 5 tournament match between myself and the Kraken King Enticity. We will be going to game 5 for certainly a very interesting one. You guys are in for a treat. Hey, Nicholas, I'm glad to hear that. Good for you, man. Good for you. All right. So I'm going to grab some water. I'll be back in just a second, and we'll be here with the grand finals. So just give me like a minute. Looking at the value, 1,600 on this chicken, 3,300 on my Exalted Boy. I think he was a beast, man. I needed to be more careful. Like letting my Exalted Lord of Change get shot to pieces definitely, I think, cost me the game. I thought about summoning in some Flamers too. Like they might have actually been a good counter against the Bariots. I think maybe the Flamers were something that I should have done. I also had a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, which has anti-large shooting. I think maybe a Soul Grinder in the starting army instead of the Spawn could have been really good against Kislev Chariot spam. But my build, I don't think it quite executed properly. Very well played to him. Very well played. All right, I'll be right back. We're going to game 5, and we will go from here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I return. We're going to get this next match set up. I don't know why my voice is so rugged today. I guess I've been casting a lot of games. Kislev is very good, but honestly, Kislev or Tzeentch is like slightly Tzeentch favored, I would say. If like they're min-maxing, which we tried to. I mean, Tzeentch lost twice today. Let's see. I'll pull this back. But Kislev has a terrible matchup versus Ogre Kingdoms. They have an even matchup versus Khorne. Nurgle versus Kislev is interesting. Nurgle actually can do okay with its Air Force. And then just like tar pitting objectives with like chunky boys. Yeah, like Kislev is not overpowered at all. If we were to do like a tier list of some sort, I would say Tzeentch and Ogres are S tier. Kislev is A tier with Khorne. B tier would probably... Slaanesh might even be A tier now that I think about it. I've seen them doing really well. And then B tier would probably be like I don't know, maybe even C tier would be like Nurgle, and Cathay would be like C tier too. I think Cathay actually has some better matchups than Nurgle does in some cases. Like Nurgle is just really, really tough to play. Yeah. Who's the best dwarf player? Yamai's is very good. The gentleman on the website, on Total Tavern, who wrote the Cathay guide is like a top dwarf player, so he's very, very good. Yeah. All right, so let's get this next match. This is game 5. This is for the marbles. This is for the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be Khorne versus Cathay. I was saving my Khorne pick for last because we had come to a situation in the tournament, considering we went to game 5, where I knew that Enticity, he did not have his Tzeentch. He did not have his Ogres. He did not have Kislev. So I was saving my Khorne for the end, knowing that he would either have to play Nurgle, which I know he doesn't play because I don't think he likes him. He would have the Cathay or a Khorne mirror match. I have practiced Khorne mirror matches a lot, like a ton. I played like a bunch of them, so I felt very confident in that. And him and I have done Cathay versus Khorne quite a bit. Typically, Khorne does emerge victorious, like 60 to 70% of the time here, but he has beaten my Khorne with his Cathay before. And in this case, he did pick Cathay. So I was a little bit stressed because I was like, did Enticity like scheme some new build that's just going to absolutely destroy my Khornate forces? We'll have to see. So for the Kraken King, he's going to have the double Terracotta Sentinel backed by the Peasant Spearman opening. Up in the sky, he does have a Dragon-Blooded Lord who's going to be coming in with all the buffs. So the Bombardment, the Ward Save buff, as well as the damage buff, and some Longma Riders. Now, Longma Riders are really, really good against Khorne Dogs. If they get the charge in them, the Khorne Dogs get absolutely destroyed. Now, as far as my forces here, I have 2 Bloodletters of Khorne, double Cultist on horseback, and an Exalted Bloodthirster up in the sky with the Deathbringer ability. Now, seeing his Air Force, sorry about the snow blindness here. It's very, very bright. I'll try and avoid it later, but you can land your flyers on the ground, right? So I just get my Bloodthirster. I'm like, okay, you can have the skies. Like, I might have been able to win this fight, but like with the buffs from the Dragon-Blooded Lord, I felt like his great Longma Riders would be able to just dominate me. So over here, we do also get some Chaos Warriors with Halberds. And the idea against Cathay is not to try and 3-cap them. Ideally, I just wanted to get Halberds on objective number 1. Cathay is probably one of the worst factions in the game at actually wrestling objectives from people, but they're surprisingly good at holding objectives once they get them. So that's really their big strength. So here we are, moving in over to the Chaos Warriors of Khorne on objective 1, and seeing that he went with the double Sentinel build, I was like, I'm not going to fight you until I'm ready. So we obviously have 3 minutes here. I have some Chaos Warriors of Khorne with Halberds moving on to objective number 2 here, and they're going to be moving on and, hopefully holding here. We'll have to see. We will have to see indeed. So Exalted Bloodthirster, looping back around, staying on the ground here. He's got those majestic hooves. You can see those things are pumping in the old snow here. And I'm looking to just get a fight on the middle against his Sentinels with a couple units of Chaos Warriors. And I know that Cathay really needs, like, he invested a ton in powerful single entities, right? Like a ton. So the idea is, if I can have a dual-pronged push to try and get his back objective, the Bloodletters like take some damage from Great Longma Riders, but the fight actually isn't bad for Bloodletters. They have crazy good armor piercing and really good melee attack, so I felt fine with this. I was like, let's get my Halberds, let's get my Flying Lord, and just go Royal Rumble this shit in the middle of the map and really just try and get our victory there. And even if he does attack the Bloodletters, it doesn't seem too stressful, but I mean, his Air Force build here is good because it's forcing me to not use Khorne Dogs. If I use Khorne Dogs, he's just going to hunt them down or blockade them before they get to the battlefield. So I need to wear down those Longma Riders before things get a little bit messy. Now, the objectives are not opening up yet. The top objective here, number 3, will be open in just a hot moment. Enticity does summon in some Peasant Archers, most likely, to try and shoot my Bloodletters off. And it looks like there's going to be a bit of an engagement, as the Longmas do a weird rear charge in the back of my units. They do actually kill 3 Bloodletters and pull back without taking any damage, but he did use the Jade Shield to give him a little bit of ward save. So ideally, we're just going to keep moving and trying to force the Longma Riders to deal with this, while in the middle, it is time for the Khorne boys to get in there. The Halberds are going to be going after the big Sentinels, which are hoofing it away here. And yeah, the 2 Khorne Cultists thinking about going up to the high ground. They're on horseback, so I could drop some summons. I could fight in combat. We have good options. And here comes the Sentinels with the big, cool attacks. I think they have some of the best attack animations in the game, as they do Slam Jam, Space Jam. But Khorne Halberds are just amazing. These guys are very, very tough. And they should be able to grind and fight pretty well here against the Terracotta Sentinels. And also, we have the big man himself, stomping all angrily. He's on ground, and we are going to be popping Deathbringer as he moves in, and is going to be attacking into the side here of the Terracotta Sentinel. So this is a very cost-effective fight. Now, as far as the high ground fight goes, I did summon in some Fleshhounds of Khorne right from my Vanguard deployment zone here. I think it's like right here, to try and pin in the Longma Riders. But the Longma Riders actually decisively defeated them. Did some okay damage, but the value we got in the Longmas there was pretty good. Cathay doesn't have any healing in this build, so I don't need to worry about that too much. And now the Bloodletters are going to be going to threaten the back objective. In the meantime, this fight is going super good. We have the Khorne Halberds just grinding against these big boys, and also my, Exalted Demon here is just a monster in this fight. With the Deathbringer popped, his weapon strength is so much. Oh, there's going to be a big bombardment coming from Cathay, though. It's going to be incredible against my Halberds, and boom! Blast my Halberds, does some really nice damage, but one Sentinel is already very, very low. We have Halberds against Peasants, and now Enticity is starting to summon in Jade Warriors, as well as in the backfield, he's got some shooting units, so he does have the Iron Hail Gunners, and the Khorne Dogs are just trying their best to hold here, and those Gunners really can put a huge amount of hurt on my units if they're allowed to fight unimpeded. Up here in the hills, though, we get another cost-effective trade against the Longma Riders, the Bloodletters of Khorne fighting super well, especially when they're backed up by the double Cultist, because without the Cultists, it would be a little bit tough, but now it's time to feast on some Peasants. Sorry about the snow blindness. Oh my god, that's like some brutal shit. We'll zoom in. There you go. And the Bloodletters, blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne. They move in, and the Peasants are being cut to pieces as the Cultists of Khorne does some big work. The Longmas landing to try and save, but there's a full unit of Bloodletters back there, and I do also have a summon available. Now, realizing I had objective number 1, we're going to be sending the Halberds down. Cathay isn't like super mobile. I mean, they have some, but I felt like I could respond with some Khorne Dogs if he tried to backcap me, so I was like, let's just go all in the middle. The Cultists of Khorne trying to fight the big Sentinel. One of the Sentinels is very low, and a big chunk is trying to get him. He whips the one Sentinel right in the back, and we do get a Bloodletter summon right on top of the Jade Warriors, and the Halberds are just such middle linebackers, just such beasts. And also some Fleshhounds of Khorne were able to kind of slip through the defenses of Cathay, going up through the middle here. More and more Bloodletters coming from the back. Looking at Cathay summons, it is Peasant Horsemen to try and block me up here, but it's going to be very tough for these Iron Hail Gunners to stay online. And this is probably one of the biggest weaknesses Cathay has in general, is they do have trouble protecting their range units against like the Demon factions in my experience, because nothing they have has really high DPS to peel off. Now, one Terracotta Sentinel does go down for the count, and now we have a Duel of Fates as the giant Demon of Khorne battles the Terracotta Man. Terracotta Sentinel doing pretty good, but the Greater Demon with Deathbringer active once again, 871 weapon strength. Ooh, a nice bombardment by Cathay, the Celestial Bombardment from the Dragon-Blooded Lord, just beautiful stuff. But man, this Exalted Bloodthirster is a beast this game, just wearing down the Sentinels. The Halberd support obviously quite important as well. And much of the Cathay ranged assets are shut down at this point. Yeah, they're being swarmed by the Khorne Dogs, also by the Furies. And what is Cathay going to be summoning in response? So it is going to be Longma Riders, which is a good choice. Longma Riders are excellent at peeling. They're like the only good peeling unit on Cathay. So now I just need to hold these two positions. I don't need to get greedy and push for the back position, although I will occasionally threaten it. I have some Fleshhounds moving up that way to maybe cause some problems, but I just need to keep them off this objective. Objective number 1, I did summon a unit of Bloodletters to move back here and go jump on that and hopefully kind of keep things in check. And the Longma Rider is circling overhead, but like there's no good targets for them to land. And this game, you guys probably noticed, I didn't really put much of an effort in Furies, Khorne Dogs, anything like that, because in my experience, Enticity, at least in our practice games, he would really use Longma Riders to shut down my harass very effectively. So I just went with more of like a brute force matchup, and so far it seems to be pretty good. Is Scarbrand worth it? Yes, he is. He's amazing and could easily be used in this matchup, but I prefer the Flying Lord on this map because he can jump up and down on the cliffs and can be a little bit more dynamic. But certain maps, Scarbrand is going to be really, really good. Scarbrand's better than the Exalted Boy, like against Slaanesh. Really good, really good against like, Tzeentch as well. I mean, yeah. Well, Tzeentch is a little bit risky, I suppose, but the Exalted Bloodthirster does catch the Cathay Lord, landed in the pits. Certainly in the wrong neighborhood, as the Whip of Khorne certainly drops some big shots. Cathay does get a little bit of shooting in the backfield. The Iron Hail Gunners are going to be blasting into me, and honestly, I don't really have too much to stop this, so I do have to pull the big demon back in a second as Cathay moves in with 2 shooting units, and we do get a big Air Force goon coming in from the Great Longma Riders. But Halberds are everywhere. Cultists of Khorne moving back here to try and intercept these guys. Bloodletters have been detached from the objective, but the Iron Hail Gunners still pack in a pretty good punch, putting me down to about 4,000 HP there. Definitely some rough stuff for sure. Chaos Warhounds, just basic ones, not Khorne Dogs, brought from the Deep Reserve from the Vanguard Point. Going to be jumping across onto the Iron Hail Gunners as Cathay brings in more and more guns, but it's certainly very precarious because their position isn't like safe really. There's a lot back here. It looks like they were pulling out their swords to go fight some Bloodletters. Not going to be great for them. And now the Hound units are going to be feasting on the gun units of Cathay. Big charge in there. The other Iron Hail Gunners trying to get their shots going, but the Greater Demon endures. And we have a really, really good foothold on this objective. Now, up in the hills, we did have a little bit of a scrap as well. We had some Longma Riders trying to intercept some Khorne Dogs, and I think that he may have forgotten about them. But in this case, we do get another Fleshhound, and we actually swarm in there. So the 2 Fleshhounds against these beat up Longbows should be able to win. So that's pretty decisive for us, because then we can move around the side and threaten this objective, or maybe even flank into his gun lines. The Greater Demon, going to be going to greener pastures, will be landing up on these peasant archers up on the cliff. Oh, Greater Demon of Corn. Yes, Fire Breath looking pretty damn cool, as it gets a huge roast right there. And the peasant archers do have the yin, but there's no yang in here, although a little bit of yang coming in now. Going to give him some extra leadership, but for the most part, the Greater Demon should do good. And just to really put a lot of pressure and make it harder for him to stabilize, I summon another unit of Bloodletters in the back. We're going to be moving up to objective number 3. Now, what does Cathay have going for them here? They do have the one objective. They are not super far behind in points, so if they could somehow wrestle the middle with some of their shooting, they could certainly get back in this game. But that's going to be a tough one, considering that their Longbow Riders are pretty much offline. Both Sentinels have died, and yeah, most of their power pieces are kind of in the can here, as the Cultist of Corn does move in. Goes after the Peasant Archers, gets a nice little cleaving attack there, and Enticity does call the GG, knowing it's pretty much over at that point. So with that, we get the Series 3-2, super close. Incredibly fun match. I mean, man, that tournament was really fun. So big shout out to Rubber Duck of War for hosting it. If you guys haven't seen his YouTube channel, there will be a link in the comment section below after the fact. And Rubber Duck of War casted this tournament live. So if you guys want to go watch the games live, they were super intense. You got to see it from my perspective via replays, but if you want to see the damage value during the games, unfortunately, it doesn't show in replays, but you can go over to Rubber Duck of War's channel and see all that. And he was also doing a fundraiser, which I'm sure the details for his charity will be in the description of his video, so make sure to head on over there and check that out. Big shout out to Rubber Duck, and well played to Enticity. I mean, it's funny because in this matchup, in this best of 5 series, both Enticity and I took like one absolute terrible matchup. Like, I played Nurgle into Slanesh, which is just like almost, it feels impossible. And then he played Cathay into Khorne, which is like a terrible matchup as well. It was really funny. So we both took like a matchup that was just awful for us. Like, we both had one really bad matchup, and this was his, and mine was the Nurgle one as well. Yeah, fun stuff for sure. So with that, we get to Series 3-2. That is it. I am looking forward to playing in some tournaments. I think I'll be playing in my own tournament as well. One of the first ones, of course. Obviously, prizes would go to other players, but yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun. I don't know why it doesn't show damage value. I'm pretty sure it will. I think CA said they're going to go back and fix that. So let's go back and show you guys the website now. So that is it for the tournament. Best of 5. We've been going for, oh man, it's only been an hour and a half. Man, we might have to do some other stuff. Let's go back to the website. For anybody who's just joining, we can take a look at that for a second and go from there. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. So here it is. Do the Ogres have any bad matchups? No, not really. The only matchup that's kind of hard for Ogres is Tzeentch, because they can snipe your Lords like super easily with a bunch of flying Goon Squad characters and things like that. Yeah. So we got 28 people signed up for the event on the 18th, and I'm sure it'll be a lot more once we announce it in Discord. But again, this is the TotalTavern.com. Are Streltsy any good? Yes, they are. They are really good. Yeah, unfortunately, there's nobody to play multiplayer with, I don't think. I could grab some folks maybe and do that. I'll see if anybody's around, and we can do some more multiplayer matches. Campaign stream is going to be probably on like Sunday. I'm not sure. I'm going to finish the Kislev campaign, though, 100%. Yeah. I've never played online before. Is there like a good place to start? Yeah, this website's a good place to start. It has tournaments, and you can get to the Discord and all that good stuff, and yeah. But basically, we have guides coming up. So right now, the website's brand new, so we're just filling it. We have a Cathay guide that's really well written by Umai's the Mountain King, a top-tier dwarf tournament player. We also have another blog, which is, let me go ahead and go to the blogs, written by Jay Phoenix, which is a chaff guide. So this will teach you how to use like chaff units, kind of explaining why they're good and how to use them properly, how to use the little guys. Now, back on the main site, if you guys are interested for signing up for tournaments, you can create an account here, and then all you have to do is click on the tournament on TotalTavern.com. And yeah, you just sign up and that's it. And then when the tournament comes, you show up an hour before on the website. You make sure to click the check-in button, which will appear right here, and you join the Discord link. From there, you find your opponents, read the rules about picks and bans. We have a $75 prize for first place, $25 for second, and that's kind of the jam. Do you think Eltharion could be competitive in this mode? Yeah, I think so. It depends if they rework his lore magic. Like, Tempest is just super good, so maybe. Kislev actually gets hard countered by Ogres in my experience, because Ogres shooting Iron Blasters and Lead Belchers like wreck Kislev super bad. Yeah, like really badly. And also we're going to have a tournament leaderboard, so as people play in tournaments, you can see it's filling up. Yeah, look at that. Oh my god. Yeah, we got 170 people. That's so cool. As they get wins and losses in their matches, it's going to be reporting into the leaderboard. So we'll actually be able to see who the best player is, like in the community. Like after a couple weeks of tournaments, it's going to be cool. We'll see like who the big man is, you know, or lady. You never know. So we will see. So here's a link to the website. If you guys want to join. If you're looking to join the Discord, there's a link on the website. Right here, we have the Discord link. I'm going to put it up here as well on the navigation bar. Yeah. I'm excited. And other tournament hosts will be given access. So if you guys are interested in mobility, not mobility, I was reading chat. If you're interested in tournaments, you can basically just come to this website and you will see a schedule of events coming up. And even if you don't want to play, you can look and see when the event's going to be happening. So you could be like, oh, what's going on? Oh, Dob Plays is hosting, you know, a 2v2 tournament. You can see when it's going to start. And yeah, you can go from there, which is cool. And you can find details for it. And I'm going to be working with other tournament hosts like Rubber Duck of War is going to be hosting events on here and things like that. So it's going to be cool. Yeah, Loopy, I probably will add a separate leaderboard for what's it called? For LAN battles at some point. Yeah. But for now, like, we just have to work out all the bits and pieces, Loopy. But eventually we will do that, yeah. You think going against the meta is less punishing than before? Yes, absolutely. Like in the Kislev game I played earlier versus Enticity that I lost when I was playing Tzeentch, I could have opened up with like a weird double Soul Grinder build and it would have been really good against his double Chariots. You know, like there's all sorts of like weird builds you can execute now. And it's not like as tough because you can basically summon in things to like plug the holes in your build. I mean, it still does matter a lot, but yeah, it still does matter a lot. So again, if you guys have any suggestions for the website, I am going to be making a section in my Discord channel, which will have feedback and you guys can leave that there. Every month or two, I'm going to be doing an update, adding new features that you guys request. And of course, like updating the website in general. Maybe if like graphics need to be updated and all that stuff. So it's going to be really fun. So again, yeah, if you want to sign up, we got 41 people signed up for the launch weekend tournament, 22 for the midweek tournament. This is the second tournament. So you can see here all the rules. You can see the prize. You can see Wookiee here, just like announcing that it's going to be happening. Total War Warhammer 2 factions are not able to be played yet. Yeah, not yet. But I'm going to work with I'm going to talk to Rubber Duck and he's going to schedule his tournaments here. And you should be able to sign up from here and like do everything from here. Yeah. We're going to add a community resources section, which is going to have links to like a bunch of like creators. And also I'm thinking of adding like a feed that like has a slider maybe that shows like who's streaming right now. So you can like go on. Philip, I messaged my son Herbert Walker about this and he hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I hope he does use it. The problem is the brackets aren't quite as nice looking as Challenge. So it's going to be a learning curve for people. But I think once we iron it out, we only had like 2 weeks to make this website. So yeah, we're working on it. I will host a beginner tournament. Yeah, I think I will. I will host a beginner tournament at some point. Yes. And there will be like no prize money and you guys can just play. Like even if I don't cast it, for example, like on a day off, I could just like easily host it and just like admin it, you know, so people can get practice. Yeah. And that's it. So thank you guys for joining. Quite a bit of fun. There's the website. Let me go back now and see if I can get some multiplayer games in. We'll do a couple. I played in the tournament all morning, so my hands are a little bit tired, but I'll see if I can get some. So just give me a second here. All right. And let me see. All right. I don't know if anybody else is on. I'm looking around. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is on that has access right now. Let me go look at the multiplayer menus and see. What we can do to like close out the stream is do a little bit of testing stuff, so I can show you guys. Yeah, there's like nobody on who's playing multiplayer, so I can show you guys some crazy combos right now. You want to see some OP stuff? All right, this is going to be like let's discover some interesting tactics and chill. All right, so one sec. Oh, hold on. And cool. And then we hide this as well. So let me show you guys some cheesy tactics that might work for you. Hey, thank you, Farewell, for the donation. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Play campaign. I mean, I could continue my campaign, but then like I'd rather have it in its own video. So maybe I would. Yeah, I think we'll just do this for now. So let me show you some cheesy Tzeentch stuff Now, if you're playing against, let's say, like a Slanesh Lord, and most players will come in probably with like a smaller Lord choice, right? So we'll just get like a Herald or something and put it on like the Anteater. This is like a Tzeentch opening that you can do that is really crazy. Yeah. Have you reached out to other content creators like Lionheart and Legend to see if they'll... I mean, you know, they do multiplayer campaign though, and the website's more multiplayer focused, so I don't... Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is the combo. You bring... Imagine doing this in a land battle where somebody has to bring a Lord. Oh my God, you guys just wait. So you bring Kairos Fateweaver, you bring a Burning Chariot, and that's pretty much the whole combo. It's very like reasonable to bring. And Slanesh will come in with like a Lord like this, right? Man, some of these maps are so cool. I'm actually excited to go through all these maps and see which ones will be like really good for land battle tournaments. 5 minutes into tactics and chill and Turin gives you this look, yeah. No, I mean, I think like a lot of people who don't even like multiplayer like to play it, like to watch it still. I think it's a very fun like spectator thing. I want to see... Oh my God, yeah. There's some dirty tactics. Tzeentch is just like pure filth. Tzeentch's roster, none of us did this today because we know, but if you just showed up on ladder and did this to someone, you could just like wreck their world. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm putting this out there as a warning to you guys. So you can see this stuff. Okay, so somebody has a Lord, right? They're sitting there, they're happy, they're enjoying their life. They have a nice Slanesh Lord. All's good. We just have to make sure we have enough Winds of Magic for 2 blue fires, which when I overcast it, what does it do? Armor piercing damage? Yeah, we don't need to overcast that. So basically, what you do, you go ahead and get the Lord here. You use the Gaze of Fate. Then you attack it with this. You attack with Kairos. You cast the blue fire. You shoot here. Okay, so Kairos is going to cast blue fire now. Check this out. Right now, the Lord is like, in a little bit of danger. So here comes the blue fire. Boom. Then you use Scroll of Tomorrow to reset your cooldown. So you click again. The Burning Chariot gets one more shot. And he's still snared. This thing is still snared for another 6 seconds. Good night, sweet prince. That's it. Your Lord's dead. I clicked like 3 buttons. Okay. Tzeentch is balanced. Thank you. Okay. So you can basically do that to any squishy Lord. Even if they have a ton of armor, they'll still take quite a bit of damage, but they will survive. But if you ever bring a squishy Lord against Tzeentch and they bring this combo against you, you need to like hide that thing or summon some shooting to protect it. Because that is just like pure filth. In Domination, you can actually come without a Lord. And in Domination mode, you can resummon your Lord if it dies, so it's not like quite as bad, but it's just like, dude, that was like no effort. And that is Slanesh though. So let's, for example, show you guys on like a tankier Lord. So let's grab like Ogre Kingdoms and let's grab like, well, Scrag has 7,000 HP, okay? So Scrag is the meta pick for Ogre Kingdoms, okay? I will do it to Inkari next. Yeah. Who am I kidding? I really only watched Turin and Sparty. Sparty and I are really close friends. We went to college together a long time ago. Yeah, he's the man. But this combo, you can prepare for it, guys. You can prepare for it. If you're playing Kislev and you have Bear Chariots, they will not be able to get close to you. Okay? Like, if you're playing Tzeentch, you need to have some shooting that like can keep them from getting on top of you like that. Okay, so Scrag is the meta choice for Ogres. He's going to be picked almost every single time because he has what's it called? That's a lot of damage. I know. You guys ready to see it on Scrag? I'll show you on a Greater Demon after this. Oh, okay, so that was one shot. Hold on. So we'll let that reset. So you can get a nice little surround on these bad boys. Let's just do it in slow-mo. And then we can go ahead and snare you with Gaze of Fate. We can go ahead and do this. Here it comes. Kairos needs to turn around, so now he's getting roasted. So he's actually weak to fire. Okay. Kairos hasn't even gotten started yet. I'm in slow-mo, and I was facing the wrong direction, so a little bit sloppy. Okay, boom. Let's go ahead and reset this. Boom. That one kind of missed a little bit, honestly. Yeah, so I guess sometimes it can miss. Yeah, we get the double shot. Then you can also just like rear charge in. And yeah, I mean, the first one missed, but like basically even a tanky Lord with 7,000 HP is brought down to like 40%. That cost me like 6 Winds of Magic, or like a little bit. It's pretty insignificant. Yeah. It's so gross. It's so gross. Greasus is actually really good in the Slanesh matchup. Yeah, because you just like have him in the middle of your blob. So you guys wanted to see that against Inkari? Okay. I'm just going to take the spells off. There's no healing spells anyways. I don't want the AI like trolling. Yeah. All right. I'm never going to take Scrag on ladder out of just to be contrarian. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Like that's why I didn't play Tzeentch in the tournament today until the end. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to show you guys another dirty combo, and I will be, the one I show you after this, I will be disappointed if you do it. Yeah, so don't do it. Can you try with Kugath? Sure. Absolutely. Inkari's friggin' 100 speed, it's pretty crazy. Okay, here it comes. All right, so here's Inkari looking all fast. Let's get the Burning Chariot, shoot here. Kairos needs to get his spell going. Yep, nice damage. Blue fire, reset the cooldown. Still snared for another 3 seconds. And then the Burning Chariot will probably get one more shot. So yeah, basically, like, if you were in a big land battle, you could just, like, you know, against a slower lord, you could just, like, cheese and do this while your army, like, sits in the corner. Yeah, and, you know, obviously Inkari's pretty beat up now, so that's half health. That's half health. So you guys get the picture. Like, that's more or less it, and, like, you guys want to see an even worse version of this build? Here, let me show you the true disgusting stuff. Yeah, the best of 5 is over. You can go back. Tzeentch's Greater Arcane Conduit. So this is, if you were in a normal battle, this is actually what you would see. So you would see Iridescent Horrors on discs. This is the full cheese. I'm giving you guys like a tiny bit of cheese here, but let me give you the full stinky cheese. Okay? Like, you'd run into something like this. And then the rest of the army would be whatever. Okay? So we can get like, we can even get a tankier lord like Kugath, for example. I'm going to take away the healing just so you guys can see like the pure damage. All right. But like, look, being able to bring like a greater demon down to like half health just with like a click of a couple buttons is brutal. Like that's like 2,000 gold value in like 3 seconds. Yeah. And this is much easier. This is much easier to do. I don't know how to nerf this. It's tricky. Yeah, I mean, you can beat it. Tzeentch lost every single game in today's tournament. Because it is cheesy, and it's really bad at holding objectives. Where this would be much more degenerate would be land battles. Because in land battles, obviously, you know, like a Tzeentch player from Warhammer 2 would basically sit back here, and they'd be like, oh, look, I'm obeying the attacking rule. I'm moving towards you. Look, I'm attacking with 1 unit. And then they would just like harass you with this like terrible, terrible air force. You would have to have some sort of tournament rules against it. All right. So let's move you guys. All right. The Slaanesh bots have been slain by Samurai Warrior. All right. So this is like the big cheese. Obviously, it's not the best like example but Nurgle might have an army here, or like, but Slaanesh cannot bring an air force. So these 2 little shooty guys can actually shoot. So firstly, let's go ahead and just tie down Chungus here. So these little disc characters are really good at sniping. They can shoot. We can go ahead and use the blue fire here. Now that he's weak to fire, we can do this as well. And you can definitely get some nastiness going here. Scroll of Tomorrow, boom, snare him in place, pop another one of these. And yeah, you can like snipe lords like super well. It's pretty wild. Anyways, you guys get the idea. That would be what you would run into in a land battle unless tournament rules really, really like nerf Tzeentch somehow. Like maybe limit the amount of like characters Tzeentch can bring, I'm not sure. But here's the other cheese, and this is the funniest shit. It is with the Ogre Kingdoms. Now, this tactic is banned in all of my tournaments. It is banned. But for the sake of today, I will show you. So you can be aware that your opponents can do this to you, and you can react accordingly, okay? This tactic is banned. Yeah, I'm attacking you, yeah. Oh my god. Tzeentch definitely is like... And Domination actually like bounces Tzeentch more, because if they bring a cheese squad like that, they might lose on objectives. Yeah, like, and if their cheese doesn't succeed, they might lose on objectives. Yeah. Hey, see you later. Thanks for joining. All right, so here's the Majestic Iron Blaster. This thing is incredibly overpowered, right? What you can do with it is the Iron Blaster can do what we call the double shoot. So you pause here. I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the big Chungus. We can get our Tyrant to come fight him. Let's actually do that. That's gonna be a little bit of a better test. All right, so Tyrant's gonna get in there. My Ogre Tyrant's gonna get slapped by this guy. There we go. So now big Chungus is in combat. So what you do is you shoot, and the beast is gonna shoot, okay? You ready? It's gonna shoot in a second. Then I hit the insert button, and I go, and I can immediately shoot again. So basically, look at the damage I've dealt. Iron Blasters can double shoot. Then you wait for it to shoot again. Okay? It's going to shoot again in a second. Boom. And then you hit the insert button and you shoot again. This thing can basically double shoot. It's super broken. And if this weren't a great unclean one, this would have killed like regular characters in like 2 shots. Because the problem is the Iron Blaster has a separate cooldown with its manual fire as well as its other fire. It's incredibly broken. So this is banned in all of my tournaments coming up. If somebody does this to you, they will be removed from the tournament and potentially banned from future events. Like at the very least a match loss. It's so filth. Because you can like get a small character. Let me show you with something smaller so you can get like a perspective, okay? And you want to get even more dirty, you bring 2 Iron Blasters and you just use the insert key. And you switch between them. If you do that with 2 Iron Blasters, you're literally like just massively increasing your DPS. It's so gross. So for example, if we get like a Kislev, let's get like a Boyar on his bear. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so like it's so brutal. Yeah, we're not quite no rules, but if they nerf the Iron Blaster and fix it, then I think we're fine with no rules in domination mode. This is the only rule I have in my event, the only one. There's no other rules, which is great. Players, like new players, don't have to learn an encyclopedia. I'm still very excited for land battles, don't get me wrong, but I really like domination especially for newer players. All right. All right, Chungus, go fight here. CA is aware of this, and I'm pretty sure they're going to change it. Like, because manual firing is supposed to just be for fun. It's not supposed to have its separate timer. You know. So you just like, okay, can you fight the ogre, please? Thank you. Okay. That bear is really struggling to fight. Look at the AI, like going after the right target. Wow, it's impressive, right? Okay. All right, cool. So now we got the bear man. We're gonna turn. Sometimes like Iron Blasters do have that weird like thing where they have to like turn and shoot. I don't know why this Kislev guy just won't fight my character. Okay, what is he running? What the hell is this shit? It's like running, it's like Benny Hilling, dude. Okay, whatever. So we're just gonna blast him in the face here. So here it comes. We'll see if we can get him. So 1 shot, and good night, sweet prince. Although I missed that one, but like he's basically, yeah, he's dead. Look at that. He's dead. Like I barely hit him with that second shot. Like okay, you screw up for 1 second, and your lord's just gone. Like 1 second. If they double shoot you, you can. That lord is not squishy. It has like 5,000 HP. Or like yeah, it's so broken. Like Iron Blasters are already really bad, but if you double shoot with them, it's just so gross. Oh my god. No, it's not a micro reward. That is just not fair. Yeah, it's just not fair. Land battle rules will be on the website soon. So when I post my first land battle tournament, which is going to be next week, there will be rules for that. So for anyone who wants to participate. Yeah. It's brutal. It's brutal, man. I'm trying to think of like really other egregious stuff. Like that's more or less like the jams. Those are the ones that are like really bad. Hold on, let me see here. All right. So let me go ahead here and break it down. We could do some like testing stuff too. Let me see if somebody's on for some games. I don't think so. Well, you know what? I probably have some other stuff I need to take care of anyway, so we'll probably call the stream a little bit earlier tonight. We got to show you guys some stuff. We got to show you guys some stuff. Yeah, so Torox, if you're on the website, so we'll close out the stream with a couple more questions. If you guys have like any Q&A stuff about the website right now, now's a good time, and we'll close out this bad boy here. All right, so 1 sec. Let me switch on over. Perfect. And all right, so where are you at? Cool. So here we are on the website. So if you want to change your add to your clan tag, so you can see here we have the clan. Once you create an account, you just go back to the main page and click on your name, and you can add like all that information that you want to appear on the leaderboard. Will there be separate hot dog tournaments on the website? That probably would not be on the leaderboard, but I might post it on the website just so people know it's happening if there was a hot dog thing. Yeah. Absolutely. What time does the game release tomorrow? I'm not sure. Like, let's see. So midnight for me, it's 8 a.m. GMT. So yeah, 8 a.m. GMT. So for me, it's midnight. I'm going to be sleeping though. But who won the best of 5? You can go back and check it out. I don't want to spoil it in case anybody missed it. Yeah. Is Turin the human who slew 70 trolls in the Cimmerillion? Perhaps so. Perhaps so. Any chance we'll have build options to pull from? Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of features. Like eventually I'm going to have a build guide. So there'll be like, this is a Cathay guide, which is one of the ones we're launching with, written by Umais if you want to learn how to play Cathay. But I'm going to have simpler guides too, which just have pictures of builds that I really like. So you guys can like pull builds from there and that kind of thing. It's just for Total War right now, but obviously whatever I cover in the future, like I might potentially integrate. But like the thing is, Age of Empires already has like really good websites like this that are even like better, right? They're more advanced. Like Total War doesn't have anything like this. So that's why it's mainly Total War focused. Yeah, 7 hours for you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, launch day, it's technically tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a quick battle stream. So if you guys want to come and have the Duel of Fates, we're going to be doing that. Yeah. And again, sign up instructions for tournaments here. Go to the main page. You can go to any upcoming tournaments and sign up for those. Currently right now we have 50 people signed up. Really important thing, make sure you join the Discord. There's a link for Discord right here that you can join with. And there's also one beneath the leaderboard, which I'm going to move up here to the top based on your feedback. And yeah. So every artillery piece can do that, Zergling. Yeah, every artillery piece can cheat and double shoot. But it doesn't matter too much because the other ones don't like two-shot you. I think they should remove it for all artillery though. Like make it so they can't have a separate reload timer. It's just too overpowered. You can do that with Little Grom too. Yeah, and Queen Bess you can do that with, but it's like much harder to manual shoot that. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all once again. It's been a blast. We got some huge donations today. We got some new members. Thank you. I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night. I played in a tournament all morning, so I'm kind of tired. Yeah, I'm gonna do some kind of updates on the website. I'm gonna send some stuff to the developer based on the feedback we've gotten today, and we'll go from there. But thank you all. Appreciate you. That is going to be it for now. This is TotalTavern.com. Hopefully it'll be your resource for Warhammer games. I'm going to be posting a lot of tournaments, and as tournaments are posted, they will appear here. You can also look at all of them, past, present, and future on here. You can see the results, you know, who won, whatever, but obviously people haven't checked in yet, so we don't really know what the deal is going to be here, but very, very excited. Make sure if you signed up to check in before the event. You have to check in 1 hour. Read the instructions so we can have some smooth first tournaments. Are you going to have Enticity help you build a ladder system or use it? So we already have a tournament ladder system, but I'm going to probably talk to Enticity about getting his bot maybe on here. But like the thing is, it's already in Discord, so you can just go in Discord and do that. Yeah. Like my Discord already has the bot built into it. So yeah. All right. Take care of yourselves. Thank you. You guys are the best. We'll be back soon. I'm going to go rest, hang out with my smoking hot wife. And that is it for now. Adios, my friends, and cheers.